Hey guys, Matt and Scott here from the Old 77. Just wanted to take a moment and say, have you heard about Anchor yet?
It's a great way to do a podcast.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like, Anchor's got all of this stuff for you. Get analytics. We're online, everywhere. Apple, Google, and they did all of that for us. We didn't have to submit anything.
Nope. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer.
Right, so no computer, no problem.
Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Why, he's mad. Look at his eyes. Why, the man's gone crazy.
Did you miss me, Richie? Did you miss me? Oh, I missed you. What game should we play? Operation? Oh, I like that one.
Hey there, this is the Old 77.
They are all against me. They all must die.
It's a safe place in an unsafe world.
Marge! Oh, Marge!
I'm in the kitchen, Homer.
All right, here's your f***ing warning. Foul language may occur due to the subject matter.
Welcome to the Old 77.
Now, let's get on with the show.
We do hope that you enjoy the time you have left.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Old 77. It's a safe place.
In an unsafe world.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Scott?
Excited for this one.
Is that Matt in the studio I see?
Heyo,
He's
it's
back.
me. Hey, I'm sorry for my
Oh, man.
my small sabbatical, I guess.
Yeah.
It's not actually my fault. It's the schedule
Have you
of my
come
life.
back more enlightened?
It feels great. I mean, the one I was doing it remotely.
Yeah.
And then it's been like, what, 2 weeks?
It's
Yep.
been, yeah, it's
two
been 2 weeks.
two recording sessions, so.
Feels like a lot longer
Oh
than
my
that.
God, it feels so
Longer,
good to
yeah.
be back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said before we went on the air, I was prepared to do a remote one.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad that you
Yeah, man.
got some good
And
news today.
yeah, we
Yeah.
did. We had a tough week, Sarah and I. Sarah
Oh,
thought she
yeah?
had COVID, so she went and got tested. And then, I worked
We
from
didn't?
I worked from home all week. Well, half the week anyway. Sloan was home, so we got the test results back this afternoon. She was negative, and I'm like, Scott, I'm coming over for the podcast.
Hell yeah.
It
Hell
was
yeah.
literally the moment he found out. I
It
think.
was a true moment of vindication.
Like, yes.
If anybody's keeping score at home,
Yeah.
the Old 77 podcast crew is 2 for 2 on COVID tests.
2 for 2.
Yeah.
Because
that's
I had
2
a
for
negative
2.
one a couple weeks
Yes.
ago.
Thank you, goodness.
So,
Oh, thank
Scott,
goodness.
Yeah, man.
you're next, dude.
No, man. No, I'm not.
No, let's not say that.
No, I'm not.
if you think you have it, though, if
No.
you have symptoms,
Yeah,
Yeah.
luckily I don't. I've been
we're
keeping-
going to ensure that you
I've
get a
been-
negative.
I've been keeping myself.
I'm just glad to
keeping
be
yourself
back.
clean.
That's all.
Right.
It's good to see
Well,
your
so far
shining
it was-
faces.
It was
You too, brother.
nobody actually had symptoms. You were just in proximity as someone else.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
yeah.
a scary feeling.
Yeah, man.
So
That shit's real.
it is real.
You know, it's real.
Whether it's like,
And in
mild,
Dave's case, the mask actually worked.
right?
Yeah, I was with a student, and we both had our masks on.
Right.
And that's just
and
proof.
the kid had COVID.
Damn, at the
Dave
time.
does not.
Wow.
Yeah, we
Dave.
assumed that he did because he tested positive the day
Right.
after.
The
I was
day
with him.
after.
Oh, so he was like.
He was definitely. He was
yeah.
probably hot, boy.
He thought that his parents thought that he had strep throat.
right.
and,
see, that's just it. A
Okay,
lot
for
of
one,
people
if
are
your
like
kid
that.
has strep throat, please keep him
home.
home.
Keep him home.
Why the hell?
man?
Yeah.
For one, if I had strep throat and I had it before,
Right.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
you
That's
feel
a
like
rough one.
you feel like you don't want to do anything.
You know, but as a kid, I remember it being a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah, you mean as opposed to when you get
as
it
opposed
as a
to when you
grown-up and
grow up and
yeah.
it gets rougher. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I want to get some shout outs real quick.
Hey, before you
to-
give those shout outs,
Yes.
let's shout out to our Patreon subscriber, Toby Dean.
Oh, yeah.
Still keeping it strong.
That's right, Toby.
Hey, girl.
Thank you,
go
brother.
to you can go to
We missed
patreon.com/the old 77 podcast. Check us out.
Absolutely.
There's a blog there. There's naked pictures of Dave. His balls are just flying around.
Wang
It's amazing.
pictures everywhere.
Yeah.
An amazing ball sack.
Thank you. Freshly shaved in
It's
that
so
picture.
young.
He's
so
got a
young in that picture.
he's got a high fade on his testicles.
I'd call it more of a draw.
But I want to make some shout outs real quick to the Roughneck Podcast. You guys, I've seen you guys like our stuff on Instagram. Thank you very much. The Retroholic Podcast.
Yes.
Thank you guys
Retroholic.
for doing that. Of course, our friend JT.
Oh, man.
The Paranormal Sun Podcast. Thank you very much.
I got some advertising coming up geared towards JT and the Paranormal Sun.
The
It'll be awesome.
MFing Block Podcast.
Oh, the MF and Block Podcast.
That just rolls off the tongue. I'm sure you guys are cool, but it's a weird name.
No, man, I love it.
Our name's kind of weird, too.
Here's a good one.
Right?
Yeah, Yourself Podcast. I love that.
That's awesome.
Thank you, guys. And Jimmy Bond's Podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Jimmy Bond, you like
Jimmy
us a lot on there. We appreciate it, man.
Jimmy Bonds he's really hitting us
I'm
up.
definitely going to check you guys out as soon as I get some time. Time has been
is a rough one.
It's definitely been something that I've had trouble with the last few weeks. So once I do, I will definitely give you guys a listen.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for listening to us.
We appreciate it.
I want to shout
and the
out,
follow.
I want to shout out to What Women Want Podcast, who has been commenting on some of our stuff. I have this graphic here. It's the one that we have up on Facebook now. It says, recording a new show tonight, and it's Daniel's son at the tournament. Everyone's there, and he's faced off against Sloth from the Goonies.
I love it.
Dude, I love all of our graphics, by the way.
And whoever is at the What Women Want podcast, let's see, she says, they say, I am sure you all will wax on about a lot of things Mr. Miyagi would approve.
I love it. Now, what is a podcast about what women want? Listening to us.
I have to check that out.
I hope it's women.
Yeah.
Does that mean that women want us?
I think they want our podcast.
Okay, well, we'll keep making them.
We'll keep making them.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
I'll take what I can get.
We do have a women demographic in our
we
statistics.
We actually do.
On our analytics.
Let me pull up our analytics here, fellas.
There is a demographic
we
there.
We have 38% of our listenership
is
female.
That's a big demographic.
There.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Right now we're 58-38.
I mean, especially
and 2% non-specified and 2% non-binary.
Especially we talk about balls and
But hey, we've had women on the podcast.
Yeah,
Right.
that's true.
We actually have.
Or I should say,
I'd like to have
Scott's
a few
wife.
more women.
I should say woman.
We have a few more women on the podcast.
We want some more.
Yes, if you're a woman and you want to be on our podcast, let us know. Dave, what's the number?
Absolutely.
It's 573-246-0779.
Damn, that was slick.
Leave us a message.
So guys, it's almost Halloween.
Oh man.
Like it's in a few days.
Yes.
I'm excited.
Yes.
My favorite holiday of the year, and it's not even close.
Today is the 27th, so this show drops on the 27th.
Right.
Tonight, we're gonna tell spooky ghost stories.
Oh yes.
So let me set it for you. We're in the studio here. I've got the analytics up, so it's kind of bright. But we're in the studio. We got all the lights off, 2 candles rolling, and 2 black lights on.
Did you give us a sage wipe down before we came in?
However, I did not call the spiritual corners before I did so.
All
The spiritual corners. Is that a prayer before you have to do all this stuff?
So I think we actually talked about this before you were here.
Yeah.
So I have a Wiccan Bible from back in the day when I dated this. Well, we won't talk about her. Anyway, I had this girl that I dated at one time, and she was a witch. She was a Wiccan, and I have her old Wiccan Bible. And I've used it to call the corners that you call the corners of the. So have you ever seen the movie The Craft? That is pretty accurate, actually.
Really?
Yeah, you call the corner of the north, the south,
Wicked.
the east, and the west.
My buddy,
and then you sanctify the air and you bring it down to the ground.
My buddy Cindy McDaniel. Shout out to Cindy. She's a
There you go.
Wiccan. Yeah, she's
In
awesome.
Jeff City?
Yeah, she's a
Awesome.
bartender at Bones.
Awesome.
She's
Cool.
awesome.
Practicing?
Yeah, I believe so.
That's
Yeah.
cool, man.
I believe so.
Don't get on her bad side.
No,
She's
man,
one of
there's-
the most awesome people I've ever met.
There's something to exactly right there, man.
Yeah.
Every person I've ever known that has been like that has just been the coolest, most go with the flow.
Yeah, she's
Nothing gets to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like that. Very, very in tune with nature, which I appreciate that.
I do too.
That's what the Wiccans are all about. I think we've kind of lost our connection to nature. A lot of us have.
Perhaps.
Perhaps.
We need to get that back.
Let's get into some spooky stories.
Yeah.
Let's
so
do it.
who's going to go first?
I
Who
say we
wants to
do
go
a local Missouri scary stories.
Perfect.
All right. Yeah, I'm in
do
the mood.
this.
Let me cue this bad boy up with our new.
So this is our new setup.
Our new setup here. We have
Still balling on a budget.
this new program that we have on this computer.
We actually have a budget now of $1.
These computers.
The computer was free, but the software was $1.
So here we go. It's story number 1.
Story number 1.
I believe this story takes place in the Ozarks. I hope I'm pushing the right one.
This one actually takes place in the Lyceum Theater in Arrow Rock.
Oh.
Do we need to set it up a little bit?
No.
This is number 4?
This
Scott?
is number
Cut 4?
1.
Oh, 1.
Number
okay.
1.
Gotcha. Okay, here we go.
Yep.
In 99, I was a 23-year-old and had just graduated college. I wanted to become an actor, so I went to all sorts of auditions, including one for a professional theater called the Arrow Rock Lyceum.
So this...
We rehearsed in a rehearsal hall
Here
for
we go.
1.5 weeks and then moved to the theater, where we began technical rehearsals. There were so many men in the show that we were put in what was traditionally the women's dressing room because it is slightly bigger. They were working on
Yeah, I love the
refurbishing
music.
the dressing room because of some sort of fire that had happened a few years ago. I didn't bother to ask if anyone had died in the fire because I assumed it was just an electrical fire. So one day I was using the restroom, and when I flushed the toilet I heard screaming. It sounds stupid, but I heard screaming. It sounded like my 8-year-old niece when she
Right.
watches scary movies.
Okay, right there, I would have like just pissed my pants.
I'm out of here. Yep, get me out of here.
I was spooked and asked one of the stagehands about it. He told me that in '94, some little girl had gotten trapped in that dressing room, in a fire, and she haunted the theater now.
Boom.
I thought he was crazy at first. But then I started seeing and hearing more things. Like when I was on stage, I looked up into the rafters and I could have sworn I saw a little girl watching us.
Oh. All right, I got
Okay,
goosebumps
so-
already.
So, what would you do, and would you just continue to do this? Like,
You know, I would think at that point you'd be a professional, right? You see somebody up there, there could be anybody. You probably got a crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess you just got to keep. I mean, what are you going
Right?
to do?
Holy cow.
just keep doing your thing.
You just keep doing, you keep crafting
It's
your
not
craft.
really harming you. Not yet.
Yeah, the story's not over yet, though.
Right,
Then one night I forgot my dorm key in the dressing room, so I called the stage manager and he let me into the theater. It was very dark, and I heard singing. Cute little girls singing. But something about it didn't seem right. Then the props began to disappear right when they were needed on stage. Costumes were found ripped and stained. One night, a set piece almost crushed one of the main actresses.
Peacing out.
And one night, the
That's
power
my
went
cue.
out.
Stay
And in
cool,
the
homies.
blackness, I heard the singing again, and it got very cold.
Mm-mm.
I felt like someone was standing behind me and breathing on my neck.
You hear that a lot. It gets cold.
I spun around and reached into the darkness, but there was no one there. A child giggled. And at first I thought it was someone in the audience, but then I realized we were doing an adult play. There were no children in the audience. I started to research the little girl in the fire and came across a newspaper article from the day that she died. It talked about how a costume rack was found jamming the door, and one of the actors mysteriously left the night of the accident. Now I knew the ghost's name. Carolyn Brown. The article says that people think the fire was electrical, but the parents think it was arson. I believe it was arson and that she was murdered. Otherwise, why would she have come back to haunt the theater? When the show closed, I packed up and left Arrow Rock, never to return again. Since then, I have quit acting because of Carolyn Brown.
Fucking
And
Carolyn.
I've become a math teacher. I've been dying to share my story, but have never found a place to until I stumbled upon this website. Please tell me what you think. Have any of you ever been to Arrow Rock, Missouri, and seen familiar things?
All right, so there's that one.
Okay, so
Damn.
Right?
At
That
least
gave me straight up goosebumps, man, and I've heard that one at least 3-4 times now.
at least when I go to Arrow Rock, Missouri, I know where to go.
Right.
Or where not to go.
Or not to go, the Lyceum Theater. You know what? And it's funny because I had just seen a preview for some show at the Lyceum before I found that.
Really?
I don't think I've ever been there before, but I see a ton of
I see
ads
a lot,
for shows
yeah.
there.
So this is like a legit theater
Yeah, it's a legit theater.
where like they
They hold
perform
plays,
and
I from what I saw, they do shows there too, like musical acts.
So this lady was able to confirm the identity of this
Of her
child
spirit,
and that she
yeah.
had died. And man, I wonder. I assume that like because she said that she saw it, right?
Yeah, she said she saw it twice, The lights went out. She reached out, didn't see anything, but heard a giggle.
See, man,
flushed the toilet, heard the scream.
I used to think that ghost stories were all BS, but
so did I, man.
But
there's so much like eyewitness stuff. Like, not everyone. Like, there's not that many crazy people.
No, I don't think so.
Right, they can't all be crazy.
Who need that attention? Like, why would someone put themselves out there on a limb and tell their story of this paranormal experience, and they get ridiculed?
The real ones don't.
Right.
The real ones don't tell their experiences.
A lot of the time. Yeah.
I
absolutely.
know I've told you guys. I have an aunt that swears her husband died of brain cancer and came back and sat on the edge of her bed for all night.
Wow. I got chills just right.
And
just by
to
you
her,
telling me that.
her, and I've known that since I was born. Like I've grown up around this stuff. Really, like I believe in this 100%.
Yeah, at a certain point, you can't just discount these stories because there's so many of them, and there's so many similarities. Like the part in that story where she talked about it getting cold.
Right.
Yes.
Every one of these stories, that's what they say.
It's funny when that part of the story hit. Every one of us looked at each other and was like, that's the
That's my cue to bounce.
Right.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Absolutely.
So if you want to keep it in Missouri, number 2, fellas.
All right.
Every one of us have been to this place.
All right.
And I never even knew it.
Okay. Here we go.
All right.
Oh, do you want to credit this person real quick?
Yeah. So let me grab my light here. So all of my stuff here from local Missouri is coming from a YouTuber called Ghoulish Gal. You can find her on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat. Her email is ghoulishgal15@gmail.com. So big ups to Ghoulish Gal.
Shout out to Ghoulish Gal.
Yeah.
Ghoulish Gal, thank you.
I'm going to try and find her everywhere I can and like her stuff.
Yeah.
So if you can, do it.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Ghoulish Gal.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go.
I am Bill Brown, and I am the tech manager, lead investigator, and data analyst for Full Moon Paranormal Society. We are a small group of investigators who have been either present or past employees of Six Flags St. Louis. I should mention that Six Flags St. Louis and its management are not in any way responsible for anything said on the website or in this article. We believe there are at least 5 ghosts at the Six Flags.
Never heard that before.
We think we know what their names are, but Six Flags does not want us using their names. Since I like my job, I will honor their wishes and avoid using their name.
So she's an employee.
No. So, okay, let me set this up for you. So Ghoulish Gal, she is a narrator. She finds stories online, and then she prints them off and then narrates them.
Oh, so
and then she uses
this is
that.
someone's testimonial, and then she kind of just does.
And I actually have. I'm going to put links up to these local Missouri stories.
Cool.
In the show notes,
All right.
so you'll be able to go and check them out for yourself.
So this is an employee though.
So this is a former employee of
Right.
Six Flags St. Louis,
Right.
and this is his testimony on this website that we went to for all of these.
Okay.
And Ghoulish Gal grabbed all of these and just narrated them.
Okay.
Cool.
Gotcha.
Of Bob the Pigman, who has been featured in the annual October Fright Fest.
You guys ever heard of Bob the Pigman?
For years, people have...
So Bob the Pigman is supposed to be the ghost of the former farmer that lived on the land that Six Flags bought the land off of.
Oh, okay.
And they, from all accounts, he felt like he was wronged.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So he allegedly haunts the Six Flags.
Okay.
said the lady of the theater's name is Stella. I can tell you that the lady in the theater is not named Stella.
So there's
The
theaters
lady of
at
the
Six
theater
Flags where you can see the
is most
shows.
seen at the Empire Theater, but has been seen at the Palace Theater and in the courtyard behind the palace.
Courtyard and in the palace.
She
There's
was
a
seen
ghost.
one night by 2 security officers as she was walking across the courtyard and up the stairs to the door of the security office where she disappeared. There's also a male ghost seen and heard in the same areas as the lady. He seems to be angry all the time, whereas she is friendly and has been known to talk to people.
Whoa.
Unless you call her Stella.
Unless you call her Stella.
And then she gets
She has
mad.
been-
Stella!
Don't do it, man.
So she also talks about, and I'll get it out of the way ahead of time so you guys know what she's talking about. She says arbors or something. She's mispronouncing arbors.
Oh.
So do you know when you go to Six Flags? I'm assuming both of you guys have been to Six Flags St. Louis.
Yeah, it's been
No,
a
I
while.
have not, no.
You've never been?
No.
Really? They have these, it's like these big, you walk down in it, and it's really hot usually because you're in the summer, and they have these overgrown, like, arbors that come up.
Okay, yeah.
those are allegedly haunted as well.
Really?
And there's like 2 or 3 of them there, and they get real dark. And if you ever go, really honestly, now is the time to go to Six Flags Fright Fest. All of that shit is all ghouled out. It's great.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. It's cooler out too.
It's nice.
I just hate going to theme parks when it's 100 degrees outside.
Right.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
We went to the zoo last week, and it was the perfect day to go to the zoo.
Right. That would have been a nice day.
Right.
And they had it all ghouled out, too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep.
Unless you call her Stella.
Stella!
She has been known to get quite angry when she is called Stella. We think we know why that is, but because of Six Flag policy, we must let the subject go. The little girl, we call the little girl of Arbros.
Arbors.
These Arbros are located between Thunder River and the Colossus Ferris wheel. She's been heard giggling throughout the park, but most sightings have been in the Arbos after closing time. She's about 8 to 10 years old, wearing a yellow dress with white puffy sleeves.
Wow.
We think she's the one who left muddy footprints near the Ranger Pilot's kiddie ride in 2009.
Whoa.
That's
we also
right.
think that the
'cause
day
they
after
poured the
leaving
concrete
the
and there was
footprints, she
footprints in
intervened
it.
and saved
Holy
the baby
shit.
from
They're
a
still
possible
there.
serious injury.
Wow.
I'm going to attach one of the...
So you're telling me that
When they poured the concrete for that ride, 2 little kitty footprints showed up. And
they're still there right
they're
now?
Still there. They cured.
like you can see that?
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that's wicked.
Well, they attached a photo to it, so you can see that, too, when you go through the show notes.
Sweet.
That's awesome.
It's wicked, dude.
in 2009. We also think that the day after leaving the footprints, she intervened and saved a baby from possible serious injury. I'm going to attach one of the photos of the footprints. The 4th known ghost is the one haunting the mine train roller coaster. Last year, while there were only operators present and the power was turned off, the loading gates opened and then closed. We'd been talking about the ghost just prior to the incident. We try not to say bad things about the ghost because she's been known to cause shutdown of the ride when she has been angered. The 5th known ghost is Bob the Pigman. He's supposed to be the pig farmer that owned the property before Six Flags was built. He and his pigs have mostly been heard on the back roads in the park.
And his pigs.
He was blamed for some equipment damage when the Boss roller coaster was being built.
When this happened.
For some reason, he was not happy.
How long ago was that?
Oh, that was... Jesus, man. Maybe in the late 90s? Early 2000s, maybe? But I remember it was news because they kept having accident after accident after accident, and it kept shutting down production of it.
And they had no idea why this was happening to
Or
them.
maybe they did.
They did, and they just weren't saying it.
So that's the other question that this raises, is because she keeps referring to the Six Flags policy.
Yeah. Right.
So do they have that shit written in their policy?
Maybe
that you
they do.
can't talk about Bob the Pigman or...
Well, I mean, his name's been named, and I think they actually use Bob the Pigman too, also in like haunted attractions and stuff. But like the names and things, maybe
if it's built into their policy, it has to be a serious problem.
Exactly. Then they're aware of it.
Yeah.
Then they know they have an issue.
And if you're a young kid and you're like, you got a job there, you're like, oh, this is so cool. This park is haunted.
I didn't know that though.
I know. I had never heard
this is
any
the
of
first
this.
I'd ever heard of any of this.
Me too,
and
man.
So it's funny because every time we would go, and my family went a lot to Six Flags. Like we went every year for a while when I was a kid, and the mine train would just be shut down.
Huh.
Like it'd be bumping, man. There'd be everybody there, and the mine train shut down for no reason. Like, well, why's that? And then I hear stuff like this, and it's like, well, holy cow!
Are there other accounts of this on the internet? Have you searched around?
This was actually, to be honest, I was short for time this week, and I put in 5 Missouri stories. Like that's what and this was the one article that popped up, and I just it was like meant to be.
Okay, before you play that, I'm pretty sure there's actually a book about haunted places in Missouri.
So I remember when we had the Barnes and Noble, they had a Missouri section, and I had just moved here, and that was one of them.
Yep.
Yep.
That's exactly where I
think
remember
it was called
seeing it.
Haunted Missouri.
Yeah, that sounds right to me. We need to get a copy of that.
No, that's what I was thinking.
He was blamed for some equipment damage when the Boss roller coaster was being built.
Bob the Pigman.
For some reason, he was not happy about the new construction. Sometimes, some of the ghosts can be
And as far as like new construction or renovation to like
that's
a
another
house
thing.
or to a hotel or whatever it is,
Anything.
a business, and if the place has some kind of entity, That thing gets pissed
Yeah,
when you start fixing shit up.
Yeah, it seems to stir them up, man.
Same thing
I'm
that
getting
happened
chills
to
right now.
Aaron and Aaron.
Yeah, to the Aarons.
Yeah.
Up
Right
on
there
Hobo Hill.
On the Hobo Hill. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Pain in the
still have
butt.
never checked out.
But
to
none
them.
of the
Yeah.
I still haven't reached out to them.
That's all right. You can do that anytime.
Yeah.
ghosts have ever done anything to harm a guest or an employee. I feel good when I am operating the kiddie rides because I believe that little girl is helping keep the children safe.
Yeah, I'd probably want a position right there by the kiddie rides.
Right.
Man.
I mean, could you imagine, like, you're an employee, you're walking down, and then, like, it's dusk. I mean,
right.
Or the place closes down and it's dark out, and you're just walking down by yourself, just inspecting, making sure everyone left. And then you look over, and there's Bob the Pigman.
Right.
You're like, oh, there's a ghost. Holy shit.
Or there's the little girl giggling running through the arbors where it's really dark, and say it's an October night and it's Fright Fest.
Yeah, that's even more terrifying. To
right?
Me. Yeah, a little girl for some reason.
A little girl giggling, laughing, and in like what did they say, like a yellow dress with puffy arms.
Right.
And, oh man.
I can't wait till the new Unsolved Mystery season comes out. That's going to be in like the next week, I think. I think it was the 17th, I think.
Wicked. So there you go. So
that's awesome.
This episode will drop on the 27th. Is that what we said?
That is correct.
And
Tuesday
today we are recording it on 10/9.
Yeah. So then yeah. Unsolved Mysteries will already be out by then. Leave us a message and tell us what you think.
I'm so glad I didn't put the Unsolved Mysteries theme on this.
So our next story, we're going to go overseas.
Nice.
And it's going to be in Ireland.
Oh,
hey! Shout out to the Irish fans.
Shout out to our fans in Dublin.
That's right.
We know you're there.
You're holding strong with that 1%.
We see you in our analytics.
Yes.
Fucking call us and leave us a message.
Dude, we just want to know who you are. Seriously.
Man, email us, the old77podcast at gmail.com.
Yeah, why are you
to
so
talk to you,
afraid to contact us, man?
Crap.
We'll zoom you into the show.
Right, that's what I was going to say. I'll even put you on the air, man. Come on, let's do this.
Let's make it happen.
Let's
do it, brother.
Let's have a
or sister
beer together.
Right. Let's
virtual beer or
let's
something.
Let's have a pint.
So anyway, this story is about a guy who his mom... I'll give you some backstory real quick. His mom messed with a Ouija board on her own. And then when he was born, he always had bad shit happen to him. So he thinks he's cursed because of his mom fucking with the Ouija board. So let's check it out.
All right.
What do you say?
I'm currently 24 years old, but since I can remember, I've always had bad luck and strange things happening to me. I would just like to say my mother told me she had to get a priest to bless her because of an incident with a Ouija board when she was younger. Maybe those things she conjured had
Okay, for one, I don't
buy
fuck
the
with
Ouija
Ouija boards.
I don't either.
Nah.
Are you kidding?
I used to have one.
Yeah, I've messed with one a lot.
I don't fuck with that shit, dude. I don't care how much someone messed with something. You know,
so if you play
there's
with
been tons of stories about that shit going
but
wrong.
if you play with a Ouija board and you actually think it in your head, you will spell it out.
Right.
I don't know, man.
So you think it's all mental?
Yeah. I think 90% of it is.
Well, I disagree. Here we go.
Play that shit.
Latched onto me somehow. I also had just learned she is seeing the same figure as me. Anyways, I'd like to start with my childhood.
Please.
I was raised in a violent and abusive environment, which included a lot of trauma on my behalf.
Jesus.
My father and best friend committed suicide when I was very young. I believe this thing disguised itself as my father once and showed itself to me also.
Whoa.
Now that I don't
Wow. I just got chills
Get
up my
the
fucking
fuck
back.
out of
dude.
here. I don't like that shit.
I'm not good with that at all.
Oh.
Wow. Okay.
No.
That's a fear of mine.
Jesus. Okay, here we go.
That demons, or whatever they are attracted to broken people and the such, from what I have read. When I was around 12 or so, I was very much into occult things, and had a lot of occult symbols all over my room, and I had practiced a few rituals, stupidly enough.
This guy's asking for an ass whooping by some kind of entity or
demon
or something. Come on, man.
It's coming.
For
I
real?
smell an ass kicking on the way.
I feel like this dude's going to get so messed with.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
One night I was awoke by a dark shadow figure standing at the bottom of my bed,
Fuck,
and it was
here we
trying
go.
to pull away my blanket. I couldn't do anything about it.
That sounds
I
like
felt
sleep
completely-
paralysis.
Yeah.
A dark being.
Mm-hmm. At the foot of his bed, that was the same.
Powerless to it.
Thing for me.
This has been happening to me ever since. It has appeared as a couple. It has appeared just at my door, reaching around from behind it, opening it slowly. I also heard unexplainable scratching in my built-in wardrobe. When I checked, there were scratch marks all over the inside of the door.
Wow.
Like claw marks or fingernails.
Fuck, man.
Oh my
God.
Are you
I
fucking
know.
kidding me?
Man.
Are you
Ugh.
fucking kidding me?
We're deep. Ever since that night, I have struggled with addictions and a voice in my head that takes over sometimes, urging me to do bad things. It has been really...
Okay, so it sounds like this thing's got control of his mind.
It sounds like schizophrenia to me.
Well, that was going to be my next comment is, what if schizophrenia really isn't you're fucking crazy?
It's something you're possessed by something.
Maybe you're just tapped into something that most people aren't.
Like something evil is tapped into you.
Right.
We don't really know what that is, so we just give it a name.
Right, exactly.
Right.
And those who are vulnerable,
well,
like emotionally vulnerable,
Yeah.
Right.
are the ones who are usually
well, to
doing
know
it.
God is to know madness.
When I had my sleep paralysis episode, I was in a very, very dark place at that time. Yeah.
Well, and my recent sleep paralysis hasn't been like this, though, either.
bad these past few weeks. I have also become on and off depressed. This figure has never left. Every so often it will appear again over the years here and there, but not until around this time last year. I had a bad breakup with my partner of 8 years. I got depressed again and got into the occult once more.
Why?
I stupidly was present when someone summoned a demon, and during this I was in an extremely bad place. Then all of a sudden this same shadow I seen when I was younger would appear every single night. I was sleeping on the sofa for a good month, and it would appear over the top of me on the wall. It would appear on the walls opposite me. Even when I got to lie down on the bed, it would still be there, standing over me. The feeling that someone was there was really immense when I would stay up all night. The strange noises would come back, and electrical appliances would turn off and on.
Very common.
They wouldn't even be plugged in.
Right.
I couldn't explain it whatsoever. Ever since this, I've had lots of bad luck, i.e. I've lost nearly every job I've had due to circumstances I can't control, leading to financial issues. I've been extremely depressed, and even have had suicidal thoughts which have been very prominent this past while. I've lost loved ones. My addictions are really bad now. I've had multiple injuries, and I've changed from a very nice outgoing guy to a very quiet kind of loner type, and I've become a very angry person inside. I've signed myself in for some counseling because whatever this thing is, it's winning, and it's making my life unbearable. I do believe it's been with me on and off since I was a child. I just think it makes itself extremely known when I'm at my weakest moments. I thought I would submit this so I could see what other people say and think. Thank you ahead of time.
So the voice of this is not actually the person. He's kind of doing the same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah.
As the ghoulish gal.
As the ghoulish guy. He might be the ghoulish guy. We don't know.
Yeah.
Right. We didn't catch him.
Right. I did not get his credentials. But honestly, this dude needs to go see like a priest or something.
I mean, it definitely reminds me of sleep paralysis.
Yes.
The whole at the foot of my bed thing.
But seeing it all the time, like seeing it every day, every night.
New. Seeing it every night is normal.
That's horrifying.
That is horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, there's some people in that documentary that I've got some clips from that they are just terrified to go to sleep at all.
Well, I've had mine
Yeah.
for the past 2 weeks where an ex-girlfriend walks out of the dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been gone.
What the
Damn
fuck,
it.
Scott?
All right, man. So I've told this on the last 2 podcasts. So for the last, I guess it's 3 weeks now, I can look from my bed into the bathroom, and we have a nightlight in there, and it is on all the time. And so it's on. My tiles are white, so it really, you can see in there. It's not bright, but you can see. It illuminates everything. And I can't really see the best without my glasses on. And there are times that I will wake up in the middle of the night, and it's what I always do. I just look in the bathroom, and it's like there's no one there. And then the next, I just see her walk out. of the bathroom, like out of nowhere.
She's not dead, though.
No, she's not dead. She's still alive. Lives in Missouri. She's somewhere in St. Louis.
Weird, man.
She comes up to me. She looks at me. She comes over me and bends down and says, "I know what you're doing." And then I wake up. But I'm not like, I don't feel bad. I'm not scared. I just can't move. But I don't even try to yell or anything. Like normal sleep paralysis.
Right. But you're sleeping.
And then I wake up. Yeah, I'm sleeping,
so you're
but
dreaming,
I see her.
You're dreaming that you were awake.
Mm-hmm.
But your eyes are open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
They feel like they're open. I mean, I'm looking.
Yeah.
It feels just like sleep paralysis.
You can't move.
I can't move.
I mean,
I try to get up. I try to say something. I mean, I'm not yelling like in sleep paralysis.
Right.
Full on sleep paralysis, I would just scream.
Trying to.
And nothing comes out.
Yeah.
You did that before?
Yeah.
Wow.
But with her, like, I'm totally at ease.
I need to buy a book about sleep paralysis and really read into that shit a lot. Because it fascinates me, man.
Right.
Yeah.
And for a while there, it was like every other day. Every night there for, the first couple.
I can't believe it was that often.
Yeah.
When's the last time it happened?
3 days ago.
And it always is the same thing every time.
She says a little bit more. I mean, I'm not going to get in depth to it because that'd be a little personal. But
sure.
I mean, but yeah, I'll tell you guys off air. But yeah.
Same scenario
and it's
each
the
time.
same thing every single time.
That's crazy. I'm not calling you crazy.
No. I can't explain it.
Yeah, well, you're brave to even say it to people.
Yeah.
But we'll take you seriously.
I don't know how to I don't know how to explain it. It's either something like I can honestly say I had a connection with this girl, so maybe it's some kind of connection that we had or have. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I haven't seen her in 5-6 years.
Is she on Facebook?
Yes.
Are you friends on Facebook?
No.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
so it's not like, it's not like this is somebody that you're in contact with a lot.
No,
so it's
not
weird.
At all. Not at all. That's what's weird about it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I haven't even remotely seen her in since I've been here 6 years.
So that just really makes me interested to find out whether or not there are other people that have had, similar situations to that.
I don't know. We'll see. And we've got a story tonight, and I was kind of interested when I seen the name pop up. We have an incubus story.
We do.
And I kind of worry about that if I don't have a succubus in my house.
Okay, explain incubuses and succubuses.
An incubus and a succubus are the male and female version. And so think of it as, an incubus is a male. So he would be a male demon that would target a female. And he would give her everything that she needed. So if she wanted to be creative, he would give her that creativity, and then he would feed off of her until there was just nothing left, and then he would move on to someone else.
Yeah,
and a succubus is the same thing. And I've actually said this girl was a succubus before.
Well, actually, since we're talking about it.
So yeah, play that one.
Why not go to it?
And I believe those are Greek and Roman myths, the incubus and the succubus.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Let me just cue it up here. Here we go.
Yeah.
I've had my fair share of spirits around me. I've seen spirits all my life and am somewhat sensitive to them. When I was 16, I believe I was attacked by an incubus. It wasn't until I read some stories on this website did I figure out what really happened to me. This story is true. All of this happened to me. I do believe in ghosts. They do scare me, but they also fascinate me. It all started one night. I had just climbed into bed and was laying on my side ready to go to sleep. I was only lying down for a few seconds when my whole body became paralyzed and I felt really weird and my ears were ringing. I was totally unaware of my surroundings when this was happening to me. I could see this black figure of a man walking towards my bed. My heart started to race.
There it is,
and I
man.
thought I was
Here
going
we go
to have a
again.
heart attack because my heart was beating so fast.
Mind you, this is a female.
Right. I don't have that. I don't have that. When she comes walking up, my heart's not racing. I'm not scared. I don't have any of that.
Right. But
So
mind you,
weird.
this is a female. This is just a narration.
Yeah, the narrator.
He's talking
is male.
for the girl.
So before you click back on there, you were talking, Scott. You were talking about the incubus and the succubus and how they feed off of other people's energy. If you talk to people that have sleep paralysis frequently, they all feel that way. They feel like
drained.
They feel
afterwards.
like this is some entity from another dimension or whatever, but that they feed off of people's fear.
The next morning, are you guys like just completely tired, like completely drained of?
It only happened to me one time, and I honestly don't remember what I felt like the next morning.
I've had it a couple of times. I do feel tired the next day. Like I'm just worn down.
Physically, emotionally, or both?
All the above. And I usually have pretty bad days those days. Like I'm just irritable.
Yeah.
Don't be around me.
Yeah.
I just want solitude. I just want to be alone.
And it's hard when you have 2 kids.
Right.
You have a wife.
Yeah. And they all love you and
And
want
they
to
all-
be around you.
yeah.
And you feel like the jerk.
Yeah.
I can relate.
Yeah.
All right,
Came
we got to get to the
closer.
bottom of that.
I started to feel really warm and kind of turned on.
Yes.
I was so scared.
Yes.
When he was standing beside me, he started to lift up the blankets and started to touch me. That's when I became really scared. I tried to call for help, but I couldn't. It started to feel me all over, and that's when I blanked out.
I don't have that.
When I
She touches my forehead.
Can you
Can you
physically
feel it?
Yeah, it was the same.
And then
with
I wake
mine.
up.
Yeah,
That is crazy.
Mine touched my feet, but
Right.
yeah,
I wonder. You know what? I wonder if it's something that knows your past and it's disguising.
So
this
I
girl,
have a theory about the
this
home
woman.
we're in right now.
What is it?
My house used to be a daycare,
Okay.
and there was kids everywhere. Where we're at right now was the daycare. When they were inside, they were all down here, right? Our bathroom that we're using for the old 77 is like for the world's tallest midget. It's for kids.
Yeah, it
The
is.
mirror is so small.
Right.
The bathroom, everything is tiny in it. I think this place attracted something. I don't think it's... I think it's malevolent. I think it's here just to be here.
Yeah.
I don't think it means us harm. My kids have seen things.
Really?
Jonah has seen stuff
Like
in our
what?
house.
Like what?
My boy Jonah is special in the fact that I believe he sees dead people sometimes. Now he's just told so many stories that I can't trust it. But when
Yeah.
he was smaller, he would tell stories of playing with his grandma, who died when he was 2. He would tell stories of people who, like, he had met my dad, said hi to my dad died before he was born. He knew things. I find it kind of ironic that if reincarnation does exist, that my dad has been reincarnated into my son.
Right.
Oh my
And so
goodness.
now I get to raise my father. That's his karmic retribution.
I have a
Interesting,
nephew.
interesting.
I have a nephew on my wife's side of the family who had, when he was very young, had memories of being his own grandfather.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And he was able to say shit that he...
When Jonah was young,
Shouldn't have
he
known.
knew things he shouldn't have sometimes.
Interesting.
Dude, it's common. It's just most parents don't want to talk about it because they're afraid they're going to sound crazy. But
or someone's going to think their kids are crazy.
Right, and that's primarily why I never, because my kid's crazy enough as it is. I mean, he needs help.
Yeah.
But no, he's had issues. We've had issues in our family, and that's why I think that we're just naturally, we attract that stuff, because of my aunt, my grandfather, my dad, my boy.
Sure.
It
It runs in the family.
Right.
Yeah, I know I always take everything back to aliens, so here I go. But people that get abducted, it runs in the family.
No, absolutely
Like
it
if you've been abducted, chances are your parents have, and
Absolutely,
So it's interesting
it
the way
does.
it works.
That's
that
one
way.
of the things I've noticed too.
Yeah. All right, carry on. We got more left on that
Oh
one.
man.
Oh, yeah, we do. Let me just cue it up
The
here.
incubus. Oh man. Yeah.
woke up the next morning, I couldn't understand what had happened. I didn't tell anyone and just brushed it off. Sometime later that week, when I tried to fall asleep one night, I heard this man whisper something in my ear. I jumped up and looked around, but no one was there. I don't know what he whispered to me, and I could never make it out. A few weeks later, the whispering returned when I tried to sleep, but I still couldn't hear what the guy was saying. It went away for a while, but then it returned. The whispering continued, but I just ignored it. When I came home from school one day, I felt really sleepy, so I decided to have a nap. As I lay on my bed, I felt something lie beside me and put its arm around my waist. I didn't feel scared at all. I actually felt incredibly safe.
That's how
I
I
had this
feel.
really vivid dream about this incredibly hot.
Really?
Yes. Like, there's no worry here. No issues at all. I'm safe.
Could this thing, like, that visits you could be a succubus?
I don't know, man.
Trying to lure you into...
I've been incredibly creative lately.
Have you?
Do you get a boner?
Yeah. Just had one 6 hours ago.
Crazy, man.
That's crazy.
So, yeah.
How about that?
What, the boner or the crazy?
No. Okay, I'm lost. I was saying, when this thing visits you, do you get a boner because she's...
No, I don't.
Okay.
But this girl
Do you
was
really...
that type.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
she was... I'll tell you later.
I'm just thinking about maybe it was a succubus.
Dude, I
know.
know.
It's suck you off.
I have called... You could suck you, but this...
Is it nice?
Hey!
She's luring you into comfort.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's more of a comfort thing.
It's a comfort. It really is. It's
so
comforting.
maybe whatever's in this house,
I don't know,
is disguising itself as this image
as her,
of, and then it's comforting you
maybe
somehow.
When
if
we
you don't,
moved
if you don't
in,
feel threatened, then
no, I don't feel threatened.
Then
I do feel like
should have
there's
nothing to
something
worry
here.
about.
Yeah,
but
your kids were both probably too young before you
Right.
moved here to for them to have any experiences in your previous
well,
house.
my boy was like, I think 7. My girl was, she was young. She grew up here.
Yeah. Did your boy ever have any issues or any weird sightings or anything before you guys moved to this house, or is it only?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's been actually since he turned 5 or 6. Mm-hmm. I don't know if any of it's true anymore.
So here's another incredible thing.
But definitely under 5.
There is a book, and I can't remember the name of the book, but I'll figure it out and tell you guys. This researcher actually went and researched kids that had like imaginary friends.
Yeah.
And basically came to the conclusion that these were real entities,
like Drop Dead Fred.
In some in some sense. And it was really weird. I need to read up on it because I can't really give you guys that many details, but like the way that these imaginary friends would name themselves, it was always like very similar names.
That's cool.
From one kid to another. I'll track that down and share
man.
it on the future in the future.
Back to the incubus.
Back to the incubus, man.
Guy with this girl who looked like me. And we were lying in bed together, and he had his arm around my waist. We were laughing and joking, and we looked really happy, like we were in love. When I woke up, there was no one there, so I thought it was a friendly ghost and didn't think much of it. I didn't think much of the dream either, as I don't dream that much. Later that week, I was feeling kind of tired, so I decided to have a nap. I was only asleep for a few minutes when I woke up to this feeling of intercourse. I woke up and was feeling drowsy, like I was drugged. I looked around, but nothing was there, and that's when I felt drowsy and fell back asleep. I woke up a few minutes later and felt something kissing me, but I couldn't see anything yet again. I felt really drowsy and fell back to sleep. When I woke up, I thought it was my imagination. The spirit went away for a while, but recently came back, but I now know what it is after constantly surfing the internet. I found this website and read a few stories about an incubus, which really fascinates me. I finally learned what was happening to me. The whispering returned at night when I tried to sleep. I started hearing noises in my bedroom like things being moved around and being played with. It really freaked me out, so I started going to bed later than usual, hoping that I could go to bed in peace. Sometimes I would wake up in the morning and still feel tired, like I wasn't getting enough sleep at night. This continued for months until one night I was asleep and was woken up by something. As I opened my eyes, I saw this black figure lying beside me in bed.
That's 3 black figures.
I couldn't move and I was paralyzed, but I felt really weird like the night that I was first attacked. I could make out some of his features. His eyes were dark, but I couldn't see the whites of his eyes. He had a nose and a mouth, and he looked human to me, except that everything about him was black like a demon.
Weird.
He said something to me, but I couldn't make it out. I asked if I could go back to sleep, but he just laughed at me like he was surprised that I wasn't afraid of him. He wanted to hold me, but I said no, and he stopped. After that, I fell asleep. I was surprised that my incubus showed himself to me, but I'm not scared of him at all now. When my incubus is in my house, he creates this ticking noise like a clock, only faster, like he is letting me know he is there. He also makes my attic creak like mad when he's around.
Fuck this
Sometimes
story.
it's really loud that it makes me jump. My incubus is like my protector. He follows me everywhere like he is watching out for me.
Him.
Yeah.
I like him being around,
Stockholm
and I don't
syndrome.
mind that he follows me.
I like
feel
him
really safe
being
when he's around. He is really sweet and caring and listens to me and has never hurt me.
Fucks you in your
I
sleep.
really care about him as well, and when he leaves for a while, I feel like my best friend is missing.
Wow.
Okay.
He has been with me for 4 years.
This is
as
the
I am
worst
now
part of
20.
the story.
Okay,
Now
let's hear
don't
it.
tell me that incubus are dangerous and can kill you, or I would be dead by now. And don't tell me to get rid of him. I've heard it all before, and it really annoys me. My incubus, Andrew, is not dangerous.
You named him. That's
I
great.
really care about him. When I was depressed, he made me better. I was happy again thanks to Andrew. I know he will never hurt me. I feel like I've known him before. I don't know
That's
where
interesting.
from. He told me I was his girlfriend back in the 1900s and that he wanted to marry me in a past life.
Oh, weird.
Here we
What do
go.
you think? Could
Could be
that
a lie.
possible?
But it could be possible.
That's-
But it also could be a terrible lie.
Did she say he told me?
Oh,
Yeah. That
wow. I got like
No context
goosebumps.
for that one. He just told me.
so weird.
I got goosebumps all over my body right now.
Dude, I'm bumped out.
Yeah, that one terrified me.
That one freaked me out.
That was in Ireland.
Oh, yeah. I told you, man, there's some good
Oh
ghost
my god, I
stories
got
over in
goosebumps
Ireland.
I'm feeling my goosebumps on my leg right now.
I got goosebumps on top of my goosebumps.
They're coming and going,
Oh,
man.
My goodness.
Dude, should we take a break on that one?
Let's take a break.
Oh my god, I gotta recoup.
Yeah.
If you're in Ireland and you would like to call us at the old 77, feel free to pick up the phone, text or call us today at
573-246-0779.
Or check us out at patreon.com/theold77 podcast.
Or you can even email us for free at the old77podcast@gmail.com. Take a break. God, be back after this.
Nice.
Ooh,
After
God.
we get a fresh change of underwear.
Scott, I want to be your incubus boy.
You already are.
Help ensure future episodes by becoming a subscriber. Find out how at patreon.com/theold77podcast. This is the one and only Old 77.
Even though this is a presidential election, there's many, many more candidates on the ballot besides the president. Just go to Ballot Ready for a nonpartisan guide to your entire ballot. From there, you can compare candidates based on stances on issues, biography, or endorsements, and then save your choices to use when you vote by mail or in person in the voting booth. You can even request your absentee ballot. Go to ballotready.org and enter your address to make a plan to vote, and vote informed.
We had a friend staying over. Like we had like people over that night, and we had like a 1-bedroom tiny apartment. So like we were all like kind of crammed into my bed. And I remember I had gone to sleep. You know, the two girls, they were asleep. You know, they were out like a light. Almost immediately the paralysis hits. Normal paralysis, completely normal. You know, situation like stereotypical dark room. But in this, there's a really tall entity. Like, you know, if the room is 8 feet tall, he is an 8-foot tall dude with a hunch. Like, he's not fitting in this room. And there were red eyes. This is what I remember. And like very Mothman type shit, actually. And it starts talking to me. He repeats, "You know who I am."
You know who I am.
You don't know
who I am right now, but I know you, and you know me. You are going to die.
I just had this horrible experience, you know, and, you know, I believed it. I believed that this thing was telling me it was going to kill me. I'm going to die. And I'm sitting here feeling bad for her, that she's freaking out, and I'm trying to calm her down. I figured she had a sleep terror or something like that. And she's telling me that on her chest, she saw something on her chest, a cat with red eyes, and it was looking at me, talking in a language that she couldn't understand. Like it was on top of her, but threatening me. And the second she said it had red eyes, I just, like, fucking freaked out. Like, I was just... I remember this was during a time in my life where I was like, maybe I'm crazy, maybe, it's fine. And then this happened, and then it immediately affirmed I thought I was going to be dead. Like, I was like, oh, I'm going to die. And, like, shit like that immediately makes me want to be like, fuck, like, regular life. Like, sorry about the language. When things like that happen, it's very hard for me to be like, yeah, I'm just going to go get a normal job and, like, live my life. Like, I'm like, I want to figure this out. We had a...
What the hell did I just listen to?
A cat, too, man. Fucking cats.
Fuck cats, man.
Now, that's fucked up because they both, they
both experienced the same thing.
Yeah.
Right?
How do you explain that?
So she did not see the man, the dark man, but she saw the cat.
Yeah.
So it was
and
like
the
her
cat was on her chest.
So it was like her own kind of experience with this thing. Like his was a man, and hers was a cat.
Yeah.
But the cat was talking to him.
Right, in a language that they couldn't understand.
Like it was talking in tongues.
Yeah.
Some kind of like ancient kind of
maybe
language.
The cat was Pentecostal.
Right.
I don't mean to bash the Pentecostals.
Maybe he's a snake charmer.
Maybe he was passing a snake around. I don't know.
And the thing, so you guys also noticed that they both had red eyes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Similarities. There was a lot of similarities there.
Yeah, that's very common.
Well, I've noticed that one color of the iris, red eyes, black eyes, it's all been the same.
Yeah, red eye. Now, the one that I saw did not have red eyes. It was just a blacker than black shadow outline. I couldn't make out any facial feature.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
Yeah, and the crazy thing was that like I also could experience it from like a third person point of view.
That's strange in itself, right there.
Because your experience was a lot like that.
Yeah.
Without people. Oh, actually, your wife was there, right?
She was there, but I mean, she was fast asleep, and
so when it was happening, could you see your wife from like your peripheral vision?
Yeah, like from on my peripheral.
And she was dead asleep. Did you check on her? Like, oh my god, this is happening. Did you kind of like look over at her, like her way?
I couldn't. I mean,
you were just kind of stuck.
Yeah, man. Like, I could move my eyes, but all I could see of her was from my peripheral, and the being walked over to my side of the bed, and I don't know how to explain it, but like as soon as I sensed it, I knew that it was coming for me.
It showed itself.
Like I instinctively knew that it wasn't coming for my wife.
Yeah,
it was
that
coming
it was there
for
for
me.
you.
Yeah.
How accurate now with that video? How accurate was it from that image of that guy compared to your experience?
Pretty close, other than the red eyes, because mine didn't have that.
Okay.
But other than that, exactly.
So you saw like a silhouette of a body without the eyes.
Yes.
Which is even more frightening.
That's creepy, man.
Click on that other video, not the Hat Man one, but the other, the
one right
middle
here?
one. Yeah, click on that one. It's from the same movie.
All right.
And I hate the sound of the noise.
Hold
It's
on.
like almost like
Bring her up.
spirits or demons, like kind of like screaming at you.
Whoa.
So then
Thanks for that.
you hear like it's almost like a buzzing that starts, and then I can sense a presence like standing over me.
Okay, did you hear the same thing, Dave, when that happened to you?
I didn't hear the screaming.
Or a buzzing? Nothing?
Not that I recall.
Okay.
No.
Let's
I
continue.
don't remember hearing any crackling or anything like that either.
It's very common though.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Standing right here next to me on my bed, standing over me.
Oh, man.
Then you hear like this sound. It's like it feels like somebody's screaming right in your ear. Like they're right here.
Wow.
And they're screaming.
Well, that scared me. Fuck, dude.
I got my...
This guy.
Hey, pause it real quick. Scroll down to the comments and find the one about people with headphones. It's one of the first one or two comments.
Yeah, I just turned my phones up.
Yeah, it says "Rest in peace, headphone users." You see it?
Yeah, dude, it's hilarious.
All right, sorry.
All right,
Rest in peace, headphones.
Time to pull
The
them
ones
on.
that I'm wearing right now,
Right,
for
right,
sure.
yes.
I can concur.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Wait, turn
Look at this
that down
thing.
a bit.
Oh my god, they really do a good job at like.
That's the thing about that movie is like they had a budget, so they could
really
make
this
the
happen.
depictions look pretty accurate. Yeah.
And this is the thing on Prime.
Yeah, it's just called The Nightmare.
This thing has a cloak on.
It was on Netflix for a long time, and then Maddie informed me that it wasn't on there anymore. So I dug around and found it on Amazon.
So I guess because of Halloween, they throw a bunch of shit on Amazon.
Oh man.
That you would usually have to pay for.
Yeah.
Amazon has they got a lot of really obscure low budget films.
They got a lot of
man.
old flicks on there.
Yeah.
I watched Transylvania 6 5000.
Oh my god, I love that movie,
I
dude.
do too.
I love that
It was
movie.
amazing.
Never seen it.
Oh my god,
it's an old school flick.
It's incredible.
Jeff Goldblum.
That's right up our alley.
Yeah, Ed Begley Jr.
I saw that when I was like 5. I'm
Exactly.
like, what the fuck is
And
this?
I remember being just it drew me in immediately.
Because I remember my sister being like, I know you're scared of scary movies,
Yeah.
but this, because when you're 5 back in the
right.
80s,
There
if
was
you
so
didn't like
much
scary
scary.
movies, you're like a little pussy.
Right.
And I was a little pussy.
I cried in Ghostbusters. Mom had to take me out.
I was afraid to watch Gremlins when it first came out. I was
Right.
a little bitch.
Yeah, me too.
Hey, Gremlins was pretty scary when you were a little kid,
Right.
though.
It is. And so when I saw this movie, they're like, this isn't scary. Just stay with it. And I was like, oh, this isn't scary. This
No,
is
it was
funny.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had Frankenstein.
The
You had them all.
Wolfman.
Wolfman.
Yeah.
Everybody was in it.
So this thing looks terrifying, by the way, on this clip here. So let's continue, huh?
Let's continue being terrified.
By the way, if you're listening to this, get your headphones ready.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there's going to be another scream.
Turn them down.
I don't think there is actually.
No?
But
I'm trying
I
to
could be
write it.
wrong.
I'm just going to prepare myself.
I could be wrong.
Jesus.
And I can sense the color red, as if they were wearing something red, like a dark red robe of some kind, or something red.
Cloak.
And I tried to look at the face, but I couldn't. Like every inch, every centimeter feels like a ton. And so I'm trying to move, and I want.
Why would you want to see this thing's face? I'd be like, oh my god, what the fuck?
I don't know, man. Maybe after a while, you
If
you
it
gotta
hap-
know.
Yeah, if it happens to you a lot.
You just gotta know.
It's like looking at something that you dread, but you're so curious to see what it is.
It's like passing a car accident on the highway.
Yeah, it is.
You know it's going to be horrible, but
man,
you
and
can't
everybody
turn away.
rubbernecks it.
Yeah.
What's that over there?
Yeah.
want to see it, and I'm looking. I'm like straining to look up, straining to look up. I could barely move my head. It was almost like going like this, like.
Damn, they did have a budget on this.
And then I think I said something. I just said, I remember this guy. His name is Jesus, and I'm gonna use his name right now, and I'm gonna say just in Jesus' name, you get out, or said something to that effect.
I think I've mentioned this before, but people, in fact, I'm pretty sure in the comments for this video, you don't have to find it, but there are people that have commented that have said that they have evoked the name of Jesus, some of them not being Christians, but that have said that it has worked. Huh. So take that.
This guy here commented that in Jesus' name is trippy. I use it too. So this guy must have them as well.
So he's probably got it too.
Yeah, there's people all in the comments that have.
He
this
also continues and says it works, and I'm not even religious.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, if it ever happens to me again, I'll definitely try it because that's some terrifying shit.
And it wakes him up every time, or
fact.
I don't know.
Guess who's not going to sleep tonight? This guy.
This guy.
Here go my headphones again. I can feel it.
Right.
I think you're good.
Dave, I swear to God, if my headphones
if
go
my
off again.
head, if my head explodes here in a minute, you guys know why.
You fucking asshole, Dave.
And I suddenly sensed that the demons or the thing that was happening to me, that evil presence, just left, gone. And it was amazing. It was like a feeling of victory. Yeah.
When they never came back?
That was That's a hell of a reenactment.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be funny so I can like discard like what I just fucking seen.
All the trauma I just made you endure. That's interesting.
That's the beauty of where I'm at, boys.
Oh, yeah, right.
Shit, dude.
Got it at my peripheral. I didn't see hardly any of it.
Well, it's not even like the way they produce this thing. When you have like just this instant like loud thing in your headphones,
right?
Like it scares the shit out of you. I don't care who you are.
Yeah,
it's going to like make you jump.
I can't believe I watched this movie alone.
Yeah, there's
like at home alone, no one around.
My wife was at home, but not in the room. She was in bed.
Yeah.
But you guys, I told you guys the story about this. Like, I watched this movie like a year after I had my sleep paralysis thing.
Right.
I didn't even know that what happened to me happened to other people until I saw this movie.
Yeah.
No kidding.
This one person commented, "I used to get that. Fucking horrible, honestly."
It is. It's the roughest.
Yeah.
The best comment though was R.I.P. headphones, headphone users.
Yeah. I laughed out loud when I read that
Right.
earlier.
Yeah, that's totally true. Man, that first one hit, and I was like, "Oh, thanks."
Which
for
is
that.
funny. There's only like there's like 6,000 hits on this thing, so it's really.
I'm pretty sure that's because this is probably illegally ripped onto YouTube. Because I had a hard time finding clips. I could find the trailer very easily, but finding those two clips from the movie were hard.
We might as well just go for the third part of this.
All right,
that they've sent.
Let's do it.
So this third one, like near the end of it, it has like the medical explanation. So,
Oh, really?
Oh, it's the science.
So we get a little science behind it on this one.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily
Is this
agree
a-
with the scientific explanation.
Is this guy in it, or that's just a commercial?
I just felt like there was
Holy shit.
somebody kind of
Sorry about that.
Oh, okay.
around.
It's the beautiful thing about YouTube.
All around the world, people are experiencing the same terrifying vision in their sleep.
It was just a black silhouette, completely black. You couldn't
the Hat
make
Man.
out any features.
I never saw a face or
This guy with a
eyes, but just
sombrero
this
on
dark
his shirt.
kind of outline of a man.
Wearing a pointy black hat, but I can't see his
Tall
face.
man with some type of a brimmed hat.
There was three of them for me, and the one in the middle was always the guy in the middle who had a hat on.
But only one with the hat.
Obviously the boss.
And they all say that somehow they just know that the guy with the hat on is the boss.
Really?
Yeah.
Mind you,
They know
these
he's
are-
in charge.
Mind you, when what you're hearing right now, to all of our listeners out there, this is all like testimonials on this like YouTube page
Right.
of the Hat Man, something that Dave experienced.
But I didn't. I didn't experience the hat man.
You
Oh,
just
I'm sorry.
experienced the
That he-
shadow.
The shadow people.
So basically, the shadow people were like one of his homies then.
Underlings.
So
Minions.
people that see the Hat Man, they all say that they just kind of instinctively know that he's the motherfucker that's in charge.
Right.
And as terrifying
He
as
the boss.
as terrifying as the quote unquote regular shadow people are, people that see the Hat Man say that it's, you know,
twice as bad.
a lot more. I don't know
Really?
I don't know what the math is on it, but they say that he's. I mean, a lot of there's people that have these things are convinced that he is like literally Satan, you know, or the devil or whatever you know.
That's
whatever.
heavy shit.
That is
Yeah,
heavy.
Yeah.
I
was panicked, but I couldn't move.
Your heart is beating, so fast you think you're gonna die.
Yep.
Whoa, that was trippy.
Why are people everywhere having the same nightmare? I'm Corinne Pertil. This is Quartz.
Shout out to
The
Quartz,
vision is
though.
virtually
Yeah,
the same
shout out to them.
everywhere. I collected accounts from forums, chat rooms, books, and interviews, and noticed a few common themes. He is dark. He is featureless. He wears a hat. And when people see him, they feel paralyzed, unable to speak, a crushing sense of breathlessness, like something evil is pressing on their chests. And when they're finally able to move, he's gone.
I haven't seen him in years, but I fear him. I do for sure.
I wanted to speak to someone who could make sense of all of this.
I think it is a real challenge for the kind of scientific explanation.
Let me tell you, let's ruin everyone's time. And I'm going to tell you the science behind it. Okay, look at my hair. It's so beautiful. And I got some cotton dockers on. It's wonderful.
Hey, I mean, I understand the scientific explanation, but it doesn't... To me, it's not a satisfactory explanation.
So we're going back into the video, and his name is Chris French. He works at University of London.
His name is French, but ironically, he's British.
I was just going to say that.
He hates himself.
Yeah. God. So this
because
is
he's British.
This is going to be like the scientific explanation.
Okay. From a French British man.
Yes.
Okay.
You're fucking right, Scott.
Fuck you over there, you French Brit. Play your shit over there, you shite cunt.
Please, can we get some Scottish listeners, man?
Please, I need a couple.
Let's go Scotland. Come on. Get on board, old 77 train. All right.
Just gotta hop that channel, man. Come on, we can do it.
Let's listen to some Chris French.
Please.
From the University of London.
The University of London.
He hates himself, by the way.
Explain why some of these themes seem to crop up time and time again.
Chris is a psychologist who studies paranormal experiences. He says people who see things like the Hat Man aren't crazy or lying. That fear and that vision is real. But the explanation has a lot more to do with culture than ghosts.
If you look...
And mind you, in this video, he has a hat just like the Hat Man does.
Right, so he's probably fucking
yeah,
succubus.
I was going to say, he's doing that on purpose.
Yeah.
Look at the way it's interpreted across different cultures, that's absolutely fascinating because you've got the same core experience, but it's kind of got this cultural overlay.
When people tell me that this is natural, just a sleep disorder, that it's another thing to live it and feel it. Because for me, this is more spiritual, a demonic attack, you could say.
Wow.
This nightmarish figure has inspired art and myths across culture.
And that sounds like something from someone from Spain or South America or something like that.
Yeah, complete different.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen that painting?
I have seen this before.
Yeah.
Who the hell's this dude? He's like, hey, do you want
It
to
looks
leave?
like a little, kind of almost like a horse.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the explanation is.
But there's
for
like
that.
a little demon on her chest.
There's some famous artwork that clearly is depicting sleep paralysis.
Obviously, this has been going on since there's been humans.
Recorded history.
Yeah.
Here we go. I'm getting chills, by the way.
Cultures and history. In Assyria and Babylon, an evil spirit was said to leap upon unsuspecting victims as they slept. In ancient Greece, a doctor wrote of a demon that visited his patients at night and pressed upon their chests. Similar specters appear in folktales told from the Arctic to Japan to Newfoundland.
Wow.
And for most of history, no one knew why. By the late 20th century, the science of sleep evolved to offer another explanation. It's called sleep paralysis.
You're stuck in a state where you're awake, but the only thing you can do is move your eyes, breathe.
Alon Avedon is the director of the Sleep Disorders Center at UCLA. He says we're always paralyzed while we dream. That's normal. But when the brain wakes up before the body does, that's sleep paralysis.
You cannot scream, you cannot talk.
In fact, a lot of people experience sleep paralysis, and it can come with terrifying visions. Sleep scientists have a specific term for this.
One unique parasomnia is called terrifying hypnagogic hallucinations. What happens is the patient wakes up and they start seeing images of other people who are trying to hurt them.
But even Avedon says he doesn't understand why all those hallucinations are so similar.
It's fascinating in that you take individuals across different
You know, I'm here to ruin a party. I can't help myself, okay? All right. By the way, I am at... You suck my dick sometimes.
Wow, that really went dark fast.
When you sleep paralysis, I drop my balls on your
You know
chin.
what, though? He's not necessarily wrong, though.
No, he's not. I'm
I'm
sorry.
What is the connecting thing?
Well, that's the thing, is he really can't explain.
Which is great because everything is... I like things that are mystery.
Yeah, that remain a mystery.
Yes, indeed. Sorry, I made fun of this guy.
That's okay. He's not listening.
Well, he's so happy that we make fun of him.
It's awesome, you know? It's a fascinating thing.
geographic entities, and yet the dreams seem to be similar. Why does it happen? Why are the dreams not pleasant?
Chris, the psychologist, thinks he might have an idea.
I do not like the dreams
Sleep
that I
paralysis
am
visions
having.
are shaped by cultural influences the dreamer may not even be consciously aware of. For example, that man in the hat looks an awful lot like a figure we've come to associate with horror.
Who the hell is that?
The Hat Man, when I sat and thought about it, the thing that came to my mind was Freddy Krueger and the kind of Nightmare on Elm Street films were actually directly inspired by sleep paralysis.
Yes.
This notion that you can be attacked when you're asleep, that's when you're vulnerable. And of course, Krueger wears a hat.
I never
There's
put
still
that
no
together.
definitive answer for why some people see these shadowy visitors. But those who do don't have to be haunted by them forever.
Treatment for this is to have the patient relive and re-experience the hallucination during wakefulness, during the day, and begin to imagine positive emotions or associate positive emotions with that image.
In truth, there is no stranger lurking in the corners of our rooms at night. The Hat Man is only in our minds, and that may be even scarier.
No shit, right?
But the whole thing with Freddy Krueger, like, you know, they kind of, the way that they phrased that, they made it sound like people are experiencing these hallucinations of the Hat Man because they've seen Friday the 13th.
I think they're talking about just association, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people have been seeing that figure since way before Freddy Krueger was around.
Well, I think that's where they were saying that Friday the 13th is a direct result of that.
Yeah, inspired by.
Yeah, inspired by.
You guys ever seen the neighborhood watch signs?
Yeah.
It's a guy in a with a black trench coat and a fedora hat. So we were talking earlier about how Amazon has some like really sketchy, low budget films.
Oh yeah.
Amazon. There's a film on Amazon that's dedicated entirely to the Hat Man.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it actually, I mean,
there.
for being a low budget film, it's pretty good, and there's some very interesting information in there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Why don't we take a break?
Yeah,
and
let's
come
do
back
that.
with some more scary stories.
Oh man, we got so many
for this
scary
Halloween
stories.
this weekend.
Oh, I can't wait for Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Happy
So
Halloween.
if you would like to call and maybe tell us your spookily ookily story, feel free to pick up the phone, call, text us, you know, whatever's good for you.
Yeah. 573-246-0779.
And as always, check us out on patreon.com/the old77podcast.
We'll see you after this break.
Bitches.
Help me.
The Old 77, a show where we pick a topic, but rarely stick with it. Call or text the Old 77 listener line at 573-246-0779.
Can we bring it back?
Oh, all right.
Can I bring it back? I just love bringing it back because, you know, I haven't done it in a while.
Bring it back in, bro.
Okay, bring it back. Bring it back.
Bring it back.
Welcome back to the Old 77. It's a safe place.
In an unsafe world.
That's right. And Scott, let's thank some folks out there. The different states, the different countries that we're in now.
So we are in the United States, of course. New Zealand, of course. Ireland. Turkey. Japan. Poland. Germany. Thank you, Netherlands.
Hell yeah.
Thank you so much. Sorry. Don't take offense to that.
No.
I mean, seriously. I'm
Thank
just
you
trying
to
to
Russia.
be silly.
I mean, thank you, Russia.
I was going to do a Russian voice.
I was
but
waiting
I'm
for
not
the
gonna.
Russian accent, man.
Thank you, Uruguay.
I don't want to
United
insult
Kingdom.
anybody.
We got
Canada.
Uruguay?
Yeah, Uruguay.
Oh, Canada.
And thank you to Finland.
Yes, Finland people, thank
Yeah,
you.
Thank you, Finnish people.
I love your vodka.
The Finns, yes.
The
Finns do make good vodka.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to go to Finland and or what was the other one? Was it Denmark or no? What was the other one that you mentioned that was?
Oh, I missed one. I'm sorry. Singapore and Croatia.
Dude,
Oh,
they will
nice.
not. They will never listen to us now.
No.
They hate a crunchy.
We are single-handedly offending every one of our demographics tonight.
Yeah, like these guys are done.
You're
Fucking
absolutely
idiots.
It's like Hey, thanks for listening.
I listen to this podcast about nothing all the time.
All the time. We are literally the podcast.
We
about
are
nothing.
the Seinfeld of the
Yes, of
podcast
the
world.
podcasting world.
I want to give a big salute to my Aunt Emma and Uncle Butch listening tonight.
That's
I love
right.
you guys. Thanks for always sticking by the old 77.
Did I hear you correctly? Did you say that your Aunt Emma is your mom's twin?
Correct.
Cool, man.
That's cool, yeah.
Are they?
Identical?
Yeah, I was gonna. That was my
So
next
maybe
question.
someday Sloan, when she has kids, maybe they're going to be
Maybe
twins.
you have twins in you.
Are they identical?
Oh yes.
Just like mine.
Yeah. I can tell them apart, but they can play tricks on people.
Oh,
Really?
absolutely.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Same with mine. They're
wow.
easy for us to tell apart, but once you get to know them, they're pretty easy to tell apart. Different personalities and different voices. And
Correct. Thank you to our Jeff City peeps.
Yeah.
All of you, Jeff
actually,
City peeps.
Thank you for listening.
definitely. Jeff City makes up 42% of our listening audience.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Jeff City.
Thank you
We
to
love you.
West Main Pizza for having our
Oh,
poster up there for
That's
the
right.
longest time.
Yeah.
And Mod?
And
No,
Mod.
yeah,
Thank
we
you
got-
so much.
I had one up at Mod too. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
I
that's
had
what I
one.
thought.
I had a list here, but I don't have it with me.
I
But-
hung up a couple. Well, I did stickers in Holt Summit. And a couple
Nice.
There you go.
That's right, and
Yeah.
we do have stickers now. So
Hit us up.
Thank you to the.
hit us up if you want some of those stickers.
We'll send you some.
For sure.
with a self-addressed.
I also want to point out, I want to give Sally a big shout out from Echo.
Oh yeah.
Echo has great food, man.
hell yeah, they
great
do.
vibe inside.
Oh, I love
good
Echo.
beers. Go to Echo. Say my name. She probably won't know who I am. But it's okay.
Oh man.
But she acts like it, dude, and she's the nicest person
she's
in the
awesome,
world.
man, yeah.
So Echo Lounge, yeah, great food. The
You want a
chicken sandwich,
burger. You
the
want a
chicken. Oh my
burger,
god, the
man.
chicken sandwich there, the crispy chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
It's like the size of my palm, dude. I am not lying. It was the greatest chicken sandwich I've ever had in my life. Like, I put hot sauce on top of it when I got home.
Oh yeah.
Game
And it
changer.
That's what I'm
was
talking about.
delicious.
Yeah.
Sarah usually gets like the black and blue burger, has like
Oh, that thing's great.
blue cheese crumbles on it and stuff.
That's kind of like a Jeff City.
They have great
tradition,
burgers
man.
there. Great
that,
burgers.
That place.
Yeah,
if you
man.
live in Jeff City,
Yeah.
you know Echo's got.
You
some bomb
already
food.
know the Echo's where to go.
Yeah,
For
so
sure.
I just wanted to give a big plug to Echo. Free plugs here.
Free plugs.
That's right.
But we are a local podcast that's recorded here in Jefferson City, Missouri.
Yeah, we are like our poster said, proudly recorded here in Jeff City.
And we're proud of it. So, you know,
And
that's where we record from, man.
Yeah.
That's right. And
Yeah,
we
man.
want to reach out to some local businesses. So
Absolutely.
if you want to come on our podcast,
yeah, we'd love to have you on.
absolutely hit us up.
And by the way, happy Halloween.
Yeah, dude,
Spookily
we got some more
ookily.
scary stories.
So
queued up, right?
far, as you know, if you're not fast forwarding, scrolling through your
You might be.
your
And if you are,
Spotify or your
welcome
iTunes.
to this segment.
Welcome to our usual cool down segment, but tonight it is different, Scott.
Oh,
Because
we've shaken things
it's
up.
getting scary up in here.
It's definitely not cooling down.
No, it's not.
I mean, you know.
Wait, what?
So basically, we're going to go back to another local haunting.
Sweet.
Oh, this one's local too.
Oh, yeah.
We're going down to the Lake of the Ozarks.
To the Ozarks.
Okay, so the narrator says Ozarks.
No, they don't.
So the
No.
narrator, I think she's
What did
like
she say?
from maybe New York or somewhere, you know,
yeah.
on the coast somewhere. And so she
Ozarks?
didn't know what Ozarks was, so she said Ozarks. So you'll
That's
hear it.
horrible.
Right. It
You would-
hurt. It hurt.
Okay, so you would at least think that she would go on YouTube and try to get the right pronunciation. I'm sorry if you're listening to this.
I'm sorry,
and you're
ghoulish
the
girl.
the voiceover person.
Yeah,
look,
ghoulish
we all
gal.
make mistakes. I do all the time.
Dude, we're
It
voiceover
happens.
people.
Yeah,
Reach
I do
out,
all
we'll
the
help
time. So, but I'm just saying, Ozarks, come on.
I know.
I would think most people have heard of the Ozarks. Like
Yes.
the Ozark Mountains, the Lake of the
TV
Ozarks.
show,
where-
Ozarks.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Anyway.
I love that television show. It's called the Ozarks.
Yeah,
It's a great show.
All right,
Got
here we
Jason
go.
Botman in it.
3, 2,
Play
1.
Stood on a gently sloping hill in the
Ozarks.
Hold on. Oh my God. Hold on. Hold on a sec. That might have been the funniest darn thing I heard all night. Oh, hold on.
We got to hear that again, man.
My childhood home stood on a gently sloping hill in the
Ozarks. Yeah.
Oh
So I fixed it.
For the listeners at home,
For all you at home, I fixed it.
That's Scott's voice.
Okay.
That's me.
Correcting the voiceover.
That bothered me as a voiceover artist, so I fixed it.
So much that you talked over her ass.
You didn't even find another.
I didn't even give it a chance.
You didn't even find another girl to replace her
no
voice.
Happy medium, no nothing. Ozarks. I even did it deeper on purpose.
That's straight up gangster.
That's
Brilliant.
the dick in me. Sorry.
Okay,
Sorry.
okay, we're over it now. Let's
Carry on.
continue.
We have always called our little homestead Rocky Ridge. It was once a cabin which had been built onto over the years, belonging to my great-grandparents. Before them, I don't know who lived there. My knowledge doesn't go back that far. When we moved in, the house was in terrible disrepair. My bedroom, which was part of the original cabin, had a wall which you could literally push out and see the ground outside.
Oh, that's weird.
The living room floor was rotting. I will try to condense these stories, as there are so many.
So many.
Now that I really think about it, most of the stranger things began happening when my stepfather decided to put in a new floor in the living room. We tore out the old floor fairly easily, and underneath were these enormous logs, with the bark still intact. I was amazed at this kind of carpentry and craftsmanship. They were so big and still in fairly good shape. So we just left them and reinforced the foundation with 2x4s.
So far that's not really
I think it was that we
spooky.
found out on the ground under
Not
the
yet.
floor
Right.
that is important. There is a shoebox with ladies' shoes still inside. Though they were dirty and rotten, you can see that they were a mid-heel shoe with strap across the top, and they were long. I don't even know how old they were. There was also a little square tin, which was a rusty red color, and it had marbles inside. There were miscellaneous little things too, a buckle, some very long nails, scraps of newspaper, and some glass bottles, a few with lids and corks. Most of the stuff we left alone. Mom threw the old shoes away, and the newspapers were thrown out too. She kept the marbles. For as long as I can remember, Mom has collected marbles.
That's weird.
She will find one while
Yeah.
digging in the garden or just odd random places.
She just
So she puts
randomly
them in a
finds
big
marbles.
mason jar, which sits on the kitchen windowsill. After the floor was
Okay.
replaced, my room was completely renovated and everything was put back in proper order. There were little disruptions.
Renovation.
One morning,
There you
we
go.
were in a rush to get to
We
church,
talked about
and
it
I
earlier.
couldn't find my curling iron anywhere, even though it never moved from the shelf I left it in on the bathroom. I was starting to get annoyed, and I was whining. I opened the refrigerator to get something, and there sat my curling iron. The cord wrapped neatly around it. One day I came home from school to find my mom repeatedly slamming the front door. There was this painting, one of a kind as far as I know, that hung for a long time on the kitchen wall facing south. It was a painting of a tree in a meadow, with a barrel of apples beneath it, some of the apples spilling out onto the ground. It was in a very old wooden frame with a wire hanger. I don't know where it came from, but for some reason my mom did battle with this painting. Every morning she would wake to find it hanging extremely crooked on the wall, almost sideways. This bothered her, because she is an orderly person, almost obsessively so. She straightened it every day. She
has like OCD.
Absolutely. But here's the weird part. Play.
accused us kids of pranking her. She woke up early and got up in the night to catch us doing it, but of course never could. So that day, she was experimenting, slamming the door to try to put it sideways. It stayed firmly in the upright position.
And it never moved.
She took it down and burned it shortly after.
Oh, shit.
She hung several things there since, with no problem.
Bad choice.
Everyone, except for me ironically, has seen an apparition in her house next to the wood stove. It seems to be an older woman. My mom believes she was the bearer of bad news and a protector. She saw her one night before she went to bed, and our attic caught fire that same night.
Oh my god.
During a terrible ice storm several years ago, 13 of our family members stayed in our tiny house due to the fact that we were the only ones with a wood-burning stove. My aunt saw the ghost come out of my parents' room, check on everyone sleeping, and disappear into my bedroom.
Man.
There's one last thing that happened
That's
in this
creepy.
home. that really stands out to my memory.
This is where it's
At one time, there were 3 entrances to the house. There's a door that led outside from the living room, and the concrete porch and steps remained. It ran alongside the house, directly beneath my 2-bedroom windows. I used to sit on the porch in the afternoons and have tea time with my dolls and toys. A couple years into our residence there, my mom decided she no longer wanted the porch there. She wanted a flower bed, and it was just in the way.
Renovation.
So it was
Bad
removed.
choice.
Right.
Allow me to backtrack, because this is so relevant to the story. My mom's brother, Rob, spent countless hours on that property. He was close to my great-grandfather, who everyone called Cotton. Grandpa Cotton owned an auto body shop, which is now where I practice every Tuesday with my band. Rob loved working on cars and practically lived there. When he was 28, and my mother was pregnant with me, Rob committed suicide with a shotgun. Jeez. At the time, he had been working on a transmission.
Violent.
Which was hanging from a chain on the tree directly outside of my bedroom windows. The transmission is long gone. The chain is still there. My mom and my cousins and siblings have spent hours swinging from it and playing on it. Okay, back to the future. One night, it was my bedtime, which was 9 o'clock on school nights in those days. My bed was pushed up against those 2 windows. I got into bed and almost asleep when I heard a man crying loudly outside the window. Not just crying softly, but sobbing uncontrollably, like one does when drunk and feeling very sorry for themselves. He was just talking to himself, almost shouting, "I'm a worthless piece of shit, I wanna fucking die, I'm gonna kill myself." The walls of my house were thin, and this man was carrying on so loudly. I don't know how my parents didn't hear him. It sounded as though he was sitting there, on the concrete porch. Needless to say, it scared me badly. Our neighbor was prone to drunk episodes, so I thought maybe he had wandered into our yard and was laying out there cursing and crying. It was scary for a child to hear someone say those things. I jumped out of bed and ran to tell my parents. I told them exactly what I'd heard. My eyes must have been as big as saucers. Dad immediately grabbed the shotgun and went out to see about it. Mom and I waited in the kitchen. Dad checked the yard, went across the street to see our neighbor. He came back and said the neighbor had been sleeping, and there was absolutely no one out there. Of course, I know there was someone out there. How could you not hear? He was practically shouting. There was no way anyone that out of their mind and inebriated could have just ran away in a span of a minute, with no trace.
Hey.
I was worried to go back to bed, but I never heard it again.
I would have been too.
I didn't put the pieces together until years later. But I'm almost sure it was my Uncle Rob, sitting out by his transmission, grieving. This is all I have for now, and I'm sorry about how lengthy this has been. I got on her roll. Thanks for reading, everybody. One weekend, I went to my dad's. He told me a story that had happened there the day before. He was upstairs on the computer at home alone. Phoebe, our dog, started to bark at the door. My dad looked out the window. No one was coming down the road. Dad went upstairs and she was still barking at the door. He looked out, but there was no one to bark at. He went back upstairs to continue playing his game when he heard heavy footsteps going up the stairs. He turned and no one was there. He jumped out of his chair and looked around, but no one was in sight. I was freaked out by the story. That next weekend, I had a friend over. I told Tara that the house was haunted. She didn't believe me. We watched the Texas Chainsaw Massacre that night.
So that's what you know, like.
So we were already scared.
Like you do.
Yeah,
I
right.
said,
Great job on
"Let's go to
psyching
bed."
yourself out.
We heard the faucet
Was that in the
outside
Ozarks?
turn on, and the water running. We looked out the window, but no one was there.
That's fucked up.
It did it again, and again. Then the pool balls upstairs were rolling, as if someone was playing pool.
Weird.
We went up, but there was no one up there. And she said, "Whitney, I believe you now."
Think?
Let's get
That
the
next
fuck out of
morning,
here.
the pictures and paintings and frames were turned sideways.
Jesus.
Oh man.
Hell no.
We ended up moving from that house.
Yeah.
Duh.
Good call.
idea.
Way to get the fuck out.
My fiance and I spent the night at Lemp Mansion.
Oh, we got another
Of all
one.
days, on Friday the 13th. I've always never really believed in ghost stories and shows on TV.
So the Lemp Mansion is in St. Louis.
It's in St. Louis,
It's
yeah.
an old brewery.
It's a bed and breakfast now. You can stay there.
It's haunted as fuck.
Oh, God,
Like,
yes.
that family is, like, cursed.
It's like generations of people that killed themselves.
Yes,
in it, I think.
dude. It was on,
shit.
Yeah, it was on, what was it called? Scared to Death podcast.
Yes. Yeah, I heard it on a podcast too, and I saw something.
Mhm.
There's some kind of documentary on it as well.
Yeah, it's real. It's legit.
Yeah.
It's a legit place.
Okay, what's it called again?
It's called the Lemp Mansion.
Yeah.
LEHMP, I believe.
LEMP.
But they were basically the brewery before Anheuser-Busch.
Yeah.
I see.
They were in direct
yes,
competition with.
they were.
Yeah,
I see.
they were banging big.
And they were terrible with money.
Yeah.
They were terrible with money.
And their brewery still is there. I think Anheuser-Busch absorbed it, but they used to back in the day. They had access to underground caverns.
Yeah, they had parties back
And
down there.
they had pool. There's like a pool room
Yeah.
where they can swim and live underground. So they were cool all the time. So when it gets
Wow.
really hot here, and they would also store their beer down there.
Mhm.
And there's like talk that like one of them like shot himself in the head, one of them hung himself down
Yeah.
there. And it's something, dude.
Jeez.
They had a
Whole
reported-
generation,
yeah,
dude.
They all went mad.
Every generation has it.
They
had
all went
someone,
just crazy.
Is there a lot of documentation about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, I definitely got to look that one up too.
So they're staying there apparently.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
All right.
There's a haunted house too that you can go like in October and go through it. It's fantastic.
Really?
And it's in the Lemp Brewery.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
My fiance and I spent the night at Lemp Mansion.
There it is.
Of all days, on Friday the 13th. I've always
Why
never
ask for
really
that?
believed in ghost
We know how
stories
this
and
story
shows on
ends.
TV. But after my night's stay, I would have to say I'm a little more curious. We were on the top of the main staircase when we saw the rug on the wall move.
Nope.
So I went over to see whether it was air from the
Check,
vent or
please.
if it was a ghost. So I blew on the rug to see how it would react to a little air movement. As I'm blowing on it, the light at the top of the stairs began to flicker, and stopped once I stopped blowing. My fiance started recording, asking if the lady in the picture behind her didn't like me messing with the rug. At the end of the recording, you can clearly hear a voice say, "No, I'm right behind you."
Oh shit.
It still gives me chills. I partially amplified the sound to clearly hear, "I am right behind you."
Fuck that.
After we took a stroll around the house to see if we could get any more recordings, we went straight down to the cellar. I figured it would be the best place to
Right.
capture something.
They used to have parties and
Yeah.
shit down there.
Although we got no useful audio. I have to say that the moment my foot landed on the bottom of the stairs, the hair on the back of my neck stood straight up.
Yeah.
It's hard to say if it was energy
Have
or
you been
whatever
down
these
there?
paranormal
I've never been
investigators
down
call
to
it,
where
but
she's talking.
it was definitely an overwhelming feeling.
But you get that electric
I think my
feeling around
fiance
that
and I are
place.
going to visit a few more places to see if we can't make a true believer out of me. I hope you ghouls like the Missouri ghost stories. There were so many to choose
That's
from,
her.
honestly, so I...
That's the ghoulish gal.
The ghoulish gal, thank you
Yeah,
so much.
Thank you, girlie.
Man, I can't believe that I didn't know about that.
You've never heard of the Lemp Mansion, really?
I don't think
that
so.
surprises me. Yeah, that surprises me.
I definitely gotta go do that.
Yeah. Well, that's a they do a murder mystery dinner there like once a month. I've always wanted to go there and do that. I think that would be super.
Hell yeah.
Right?
Hell yeah.
Go to a haunted brewery mansion and do a murder mystery dinner theater.
Hell yeah.
Let's play a clip from a castle overnight.
Ooh.
Somewhere
Castles.
in Ireland.
A haunted Irish castle.
I haven't heard it yet, but
You had me at haunted Irish castle.
that's all you need.
I just got home from a 2-night stay in Castle Leslie in Monaghan. I was aware that there was reported hauntings prior to going, but didn't want to read any stories before I went, and my wife was totally unaware of any stories relating to the castle. We stayed in Norman's room and a series of events happened between 1 a.m. and first light, which would have been around 5 or 6 a.m.-ish. The night in question was Monday night to Tuesday morning, the 4th and 5th of April 2016. First, we returned to the room around 12 a.m., and we both were very tired after the drive up from Wexford. I was awoken and could feel a presence in the room, and I could make out the figure of a man sitting in the chair next to the bed. The hair was standing on the back of my neck, and I couldn't move.
Trippy.
I then saw what I can only describe as a mist or cloud over the right-hand side of the bed.
That's really
I had
common.
a restless night of dreams.
Yeah.
One of those
For people
was a
that
dream
don't
of
see
being
like
in the bed,
the full shadow
and the others which I
beings,
don't
they'll
recall.
report black
it was
mists,
very warm in the
mists
room,
that-
and I was too scared to move or even hang my leg outside the covers. In the morning, my bed confirmed she too had a night of vivid dreams, and awoke to see a cloud of mist at the foot of the bed.
There's another
No
one.
windows in the room were open. I was glad to see the morning and went to the bathroom. Our room overlooked the vast gardens and lake, and whilst looking out over the lake, it looked like a wave or wall of water around 10 feet was moving across very slowly. My wife confirmed the same, but by the time I got my camera to take a picture, it had disappeared. The following night, we told the night porter our experience, and he mentioned that there was reports of the bed being haunted and offered to move us into another room.
Of course.
Nothing like this has happened before, and I would say I was open-minded, yet skeptical. We had a sound sleep on the Tuesday night with the help of a different set of spirits. I can't explain what we saw, but we will return there one day. We just won't be staying in Norman's room.
Wow, that was awesome, man.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was a good one.
Yeah, the people that have that experience when they don't see the full shadow, person. That's like the other really common thing is the report like this black mist type,
right,
that moves through the room, kind of floats through the room.
Man.
Very common.
So this next one is a camping story.
Oh, camping.
And here in Missouri, we love our camping.
Yes, we do.
Right? Everyone loves camping, sitting by the fire, eating s'mores.
S'mores. I love the
I love a s'more once in a while. Chocolate, marshmallow, cracker,
s'more.
graham cracker. You can't beat it. It's delicious. Melt it together in one wonderful blob. And then you go fishing.
And
then you camp. And then maybe sometimes you run into somebody
God, I
who's
hope not.
shifty.
What a setup.
Francis is killing it over there tonight.
Man, the intros are killing me.
He is on a roll.
After college, I went backpacking in the Canadian wilderness for a few weeks by myself. To put this in perspective, I was in the middle of nowhere. The nearest town was a 3-hour bus ride away, and I only saw one other person, who was from a distance. He was in a canoe, during the entire 7 days. I brought a few disposable cameras with me, as this was before digital cameras were too widespread. I took a lot of pictures. When I got home, I had them developed and took a look at them. The pictures were standard nature shots, until I got about halfway through my first camera. There were 2 pictures of me asleep in my tent in my sleeping bag.
Oh, get the fuck out of
I literally freaked out when I saw it, and I had a complete breakdown. To this day, I have no idea how those pictures got taken.
Oh,
I haven't been camping since. I sleep with my door open and my curtains shut.
Shit.
And I still get the paranoid feeling that whoever took those pictures is still watching me somehow.
Whoa.
That was short but sweet.
That just...
Wow, that paid off hard.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Man.
Wow. That one was...
All right.
I was strong.
Just
Yeah.
Oh.
It's home.
I mean, how long was that? That was like a minute, maybe?
It scared the shit out of you.
Scared the piss.
These
Look,
are
it's
actually...
dribbling down my leg.
This next one is called Bros Camping.
This sounds like a porno.
I know, that's just what I was thinking, man.
But check this one out.
All right.
So me and a couple of my buddies went camping last summer alongside the Willamette River. We
That's in
actually had a
Oregon.
decent hike
Yeah, that
into
is
the
in
deep
Oregon.
end of woods. We did some night fishing, listening to music, and basically drank to the point where everything was funny later in the night. I would guess we finally called it a night somewhere past 2 a.m. I shared a tent with one of my buds, while the other 2 shared another tent. We heard them laughing about something. At first we laughed at the sound of their laughing, but it soon got annoying and we yelled for them to shut up. One of them responded, "It isn't us." I sat up, startled at the response. I came to realize that it was a sound of only one person laughing, and it didn't sound like either one of my friends. Even in my drunk state, I realized how odd it was for somebody to be out this far in the woods so late at night. The laughing gradually got closer and louder to our campout. My friend shot up and looked at me with a worried look on his face. I heard my other friends scream over to us that they were getting freaked out. As the laughing got even closer, I could make it out very clearly to be the laugh of a male, probably in his 30s or 40s. He sounded like he was as drunk as us, messing around with friends, but we only heard his laugh, nobody else. There was something indescribably creepy about his laugh, too, as if it was missing something to it. You had to be there to understand what I mean. The laughing was now just at the edge of our campsite. But we couldn't hear any footsteps at all. Now that may not seem like a big deal. It was impossible to move through that without making noise. And finally, all of a sudden, the laughing stopped completely. We had no idea where whoever that was standing, as he hadn't made a single stepping sound. We sat there in silence looking at each other. My friend was clearly freaking out, but he was keeping it together the best he could.
I jumped.
Finally, something broke the silence. The sound of something rubbing against the cottony fabric of the tent.
Oh, fuck.
We saw the outline of a hand through the moonlight, pressing on the tent. We both screamed at the top of our lungs before getting out of the tent. We ran as fast as we could through the woods, our other friends following us.
Maybe.
After about 5 minutes of running, we somehow found our car. I actually puked from running so much before taking the wheel. I don't condone drinking and driving, but I still believe we were just in this situation. By far the most horrific experience of my life. No idea who or what the hell that was, or what they wanted.
Holy shit, dude.
Pretty terrifying. That makes me want to invite people to come over to my house and like hide speakers like at the bottom of trees and pipe in creepy laughing.
To you?
No. I will
To your
invite
guests.
people to come over to my house. Be like, hey, you guys want to come over and camp? We got a fire pit, and I'll put some speakers out there.
Yeah, that sounds, yeah.
Scare the
Hey,
shit
man,
out of
remind me to never go camping at your place.
Right. Well, as long as you're with me, I promise I won't do that.
Okay, here's another one.
Clean
We're
up
still
some
camping,
shit.
by the way.
All right, cool.
And
Continue the
this
theme.
is one out by the gorge, is what this...
That's in Washington, I believe,
I
right?
do believe,
I
yeah.
think so, yes.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Notice a theme here. They're all really...
Pacific
My
Northwest.
boyfriend and I decided to go out to the gorge for some quality time camping. We had always gone with several other people, but this was the first time it was just us two. When we got out of our car to prep our gear for the mile hike back to the camping spot, two sketchy-looking dudes came out of the trailhead, eyed us, and went back onto their old-school Volkswagen camper van. I had a weird feeling, but shrugged it off and proceeded back to our camping spot.
Hippies.
I had previously camped in the same
Tons of
area
them up
a
there.
handful of times, and I knew it pretty well.
It's my people.
Once we got back there, I knew of a handful of different camping spots, and proceeded to check them all out for the one that would be ideal for us. I noticed what looked like someone camping further up the hill, so I picked a spot a little further down where we'd most likely be out of sight. Not out of earshot though, as I heard him yelling with someone else back over on the trail. It was starting to get dark by the time we got everything set up, so I figured I'd start looking for firewood. Suddenly, this guy appears out of nowhere and asks us if we'd like any help, and offered to sell us a bundle of firewood for $10. I laughed because we were in the woods, thus surrounded by wood, which I could pick up off the ground for free. He then said that I wouldn't find much because they'd already cleared it out over the past few weeks. Few weeks? I asked him how long he'd been camping up there, and he said almost a month. I already had the creeps about him, and he claimed he was up there by himself. I asked him why I heard him yelling with someone then, and that he had referred to more people when he was talking about the wood. He stammered and was like, yeah, there's some dudes I know camping over there up on the other side of the river. Then he proceeds to tell us that he's been lonely since he arrived. He was from Pennsylvania, took a bus to Lexington, and had been living in the woods back behind where I currently work. I knew exactly where he was talking about, because I saw some homeless people, immigrants, and drug addicts coming in and out of those woods every day.
Drug addicts?
So basically, he was a homeless man who somehow got a ride out to the gorge and decided he would just live there instead. He had been living on snakes, bugs, and selling firewood for money. But he said we were the first people he'd seen in a few weeks. His stories were all over the place, and I knew he was lying about a lot of what he told us. He wasn't alone, even if he claimed to be. He even took us to his camp where there were tons of stuff for several guys, not just one. He said he liked camping up top where he could see everything, and everyone. Then showed up our campsite. He had a straight shot view. By now it was dark and he helped us get a fire going. I was trying to politely get him on his way back up the hill so I could have a minute to process all of this. When he left, I started whispering to my boyfriend that there was no way in hell I could sleep with that lying, sketchy, homeless creep right up the hill. We didn't have a gun, knife, or even a dog to protect ourselves if we needed to. My boyfriend somehow convinced me to stay a little longer, so we planned to stay the night. But all throughout the night, we heard twigs and branches snapping around our tarp, as if somebody was watching us. It was that man. I knew it was. He was standing out there, watching us. I said let's quietly get our shit together and get the hell out of there, which we did, only we left our new tarp set up because they would make too much noise and he'd know we were leaving. As soon as I stood up with my pack, ready to get the hell out of there, he yells, "Leaving so soon?"
Oh, get the hell out.
We proceeded to get away from there as quickly as possible. The most disturbing thing, as we were getting away from there, the man yelled for us to come back. That only made us go even faster. In my mind, we were either getting robbed, raped, killed, or something, because he was not alone. His stories didn't add up, and his background of where he came from made me believe he was running from something and was trying to hide by living off the grid. I called the Rangers the next morning and told them about him. Luckily, all he got from us was a set of new tarps.
Okay, so that's not a ghost story. That's a dirty hippie story.
It's still sketchy as
Still
fuck.
sketchy
Yeah,
as shit,
absolutely.
man.
Sketchy, dirty hippie story.
Dirty hippie ghost story.
Well, I knew it was a hippie as soon as, well, first of all, the Gorge.
The Gorge.
Because that's like it's supposed to be like a great music venue up there.
Yeah.
And then when they mentioned the VW van, it was done.
Still, man, hell no.
Yes.
So next time you go camping, just remember these stories.
Right. Yes. Remember that was that something that broke in a twig? Oh my God, dude's looking at you.
I will tell you, you will hear The woods at night is not quiet.
So in that one story with the laughing, if they hadn't have seen the hand, that's what convinced me on the hand.
Right.
That sounds like a fox.
Could be.
So foxes they do this like weird screamy yelping.
Sounds like a woman screaming.
Right, we've talked about that before.
Yeah, but if it sounds like a man, though, it should be a man.
Man, I don't know. Could be an animal.
Yeah.
I mean, you really, unless you're out in the woods all the time listening to all those, I remember the first time I went camping, I heard a hoot owl and I shit my pants.
That scared you?
I got scared so bad.
I love the sound of owls.
I do now as an adult, but man, as a 10-year-old kid camping in the woods for the first time, no.
The other night I was hearing coyotes, man, and they were just were going.
Cackling?
Do what?
They were cackling?
Well,
they're hunting them right now.
Whatever it's called when they howl or whatever.
Yeah.
Really?
They're hunting coyotes right now at night.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Why are there too
so
many of them?
in this time of year, it's like a coyote hunting season. They kind of thin the herd. It's a cull, if you will.
I didn't know that there was a coyote hunting season.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of things that you can hunt. At least in the state of Missouri, there are.
I think you can hunt bear now in Missouri.
You can, yeah.
That's crazy.
And elk now too.
Elk, squirrel.
Yeah. Squirrel.
People eat squirrels.
Moose
Dude.
and
We
squirrel.
know a guy who eats squirrels.
Really?
Yeah.
Man.
I'm pretty sure I know who you're talking about.
I think I know who you're talking about too. Yeah.
RM.
That's exactly what I was thinking. First guy I thought of.
Hell yeah, dude. That's a great dude.
Heck yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man, if I had to survive,
squirrel would be where it's
I
at.
could do squirrels. I'm pretty good about edible mushrooms. Like I
Yeah, you are pretty good with your mushrooms.
Yeah. So
okay, I got one for you, Mr. Mushroom. What are those great big orange, like bright orange mushrooms?
Well, can you give me more description?
So I see them alongside the road. They're usually on a stump. They come in like a group. They're flat. They're orange.
Those are chicken of the woods.
Are those?
Yeah.
You can eat those things?
Yeah, they're great. They're so good.
I see them all over the place now. Like, we've been driving on some back roads, and I'm like, oh, I know what that,
Next time you see one, if you can, like, take a picture of it.
All
But
right.
Based on your description, it definitely sounds like that.
Cool.
Yeah, they're
Chicken
good.
of the woods.
Chicken of the woods.
Yeah, they're good,
Andrea
man.
said that the other day, and I was like, ooh, I don't know, man. That's orange. I
Yeah.
was like, that's frightening looking.
Chicken of the woods there's like two varieties of it. There's a yellow variety and an orange variety.
Yeah, this one's bright orange.
Both varieties have the same look, but
Yeah.
just the color is a little bit different. But no, man, you
Saute the shit out of them.
Fuck
yeah, dude, you do them just like morels. You dip them in some egg and some flour with whatever seasoning you want. Fry that in some vegetable oil.
Sounds good right now.
It's
I
good.
know, right?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Chicken of the Woods is probably the closest thing to morels as far as like how good it is.
Yeah.
That I've had.
Interesting.
But I haven't had a whole,
Right.
But I'm getting better. I'm getting better.
It's nice talking about something other than ghost stories
yeah,
for just
I know.
a hot minute,
I know,
right?
man. We got to cool off from all that terror we had earlier. Jesus.
I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight.
Well, especially knowing what I know about your house now.
I don't, there's nothing, though.
Nothing really
ill
overtly.
intent.
Yeah,
No.
right.
And I've told you guys before, like, things just go missing sometimes.
Yeah, is that still happening?
You told me about
Yeah.
that.
It's continuing to happen?
Yeah,
It
still.
is?
I haven't had anything lately, but
Okay.
But
Andrea had something the other day.
But it's still...
Yeah.
Oh, really? So
Things
it's
still-
happening
yeah.
to both of you.
Yeah, things still disappear,
Yeah,
show up elsewhere.
Last time I asked him, which was maybe a couple weeks ago, he
Oh, that one. Yeah.
he was still.
So I had a thing, and I had it locked up in the house. I knew it was locked up because I keep my closet has a lock on it. So it was up in the closet. Well, it just disappeared, and the door was locked. Don't know how that happened. And I looked and I looked and I looked and I looked and I tore our house up one side and down the other. And I went outside and I threw something away in the trash can, and I walked all the way to the other side of my driveway, and I turned around and I came back to the house, and when I did, the thing that I had been missing was sitting outside on top of the propane tank that was in my grill. I'm just like,
Something...
that's bizarre, dude.
What?
That is bizarre. Something is definitely going on.
Oh, I think
here.
there's something.
Yeah.
Yeah. We acknowledge it.
But like maybe it's a family member.
Well,
or something.
and it could be. I think I do have a family member that may be.
See, that's one thing that I've never had. Like I've never had any. I've never felt like I've been in a haunted house.
I'm pretty sure I lived in one for a while.
Other than the sleep paralysis thing.
Right. It was a trailer, but I lived in it. And I've told you guys that's where my grandpa shot himself.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. He was, God, I can't remember how old he was. He was in his like early 80s, maybe mid to late 80s. Just had given up basically, and he had a little dog, and he shot her.
Damn.
Because he didn't want her to be a burden.
Yeah.
And then he called 911, said he was going to need help, laid down in the floor, and put a bullet in his head, right to
Holy
his
crap,
temple.
dude.
And he lived. Like they airlifted him from Fillmore, Illinois, to Springfield, Illinois, which is like over an hour drive away. I mean, it probably was 10, 15 minutes. And he died he did this at like say 10 in the morning. He died like 4 in the afternoon. Like somehow he kept going.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I think that fight and him giving up the way he did, because he was always a fighter, and that was very uncommon. Like my grandma just went to the nursing home and things, so life had changed.
Right.
And I think he was just done with it. But he'd been a fighter for so long that I think that fighting spirit kept him around.
How about that?
But when and I've told this too, like my sister cleaned up brain matter after all this. Like we cleaned it all up.
Jesus.
And like I put a new floor down in there, and like years afterwards where the bullet hole was, you could see it in the new tile working its way up.
Wow.
Like you knew where the bullet hole was.
And you lived there?
Yeah. I remodeled that place.
Did anything ever happen?
We had weird things happen. It was never scary.
Right.
I guess for me it was never scary because it was family.
Right.
But our refrigerator door would open.
Yeah.
Like we'd come home and the refrigerator door would be wide open. In the middle of the night, because it was a trailer and, you know, it was our first place. So everything was real tight. Our doors to our washing machine and dryer would open and close. Like in the middle of the night, the washing machine would just slam shut.
What?
That would terrify me if I heard that in the middle of the night.
You know? And
Holy shit.
it was just little stuff like that. But then Andrea later would fuck with me and she wrote like boo on a mirror.
Oh,
Right?
shit.
And it scared me.
Oh, man.
So there was that. But when we would walk in, like, so it had a very unique smell. You know how old people have that smell?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we had that old people smell in the house. We ripped carpet up. We ripped everything up, fabric. We redid this trailer to the nines.
Still smelled like that.
Everywhere was fine except the front door. In the door frame, you would open the door, and then you'd open the storm door, and then you would open the front door because it was a trailer. And if you walked through it on certain days, it would stink so bad. It would smell just like him. But then on other days, it wouldn't have that smell at all.
Yeah.
And it was the days that it really stunk. That's like when the door would slam.
When the weird stuff would happen.
Right. And it just got to a point where I went down to his grave and told him, look, man, your time is done. You chose to move on, so pretty please with the cherry on top, move the fuck on.
And he kind of did,
And
right?
he kind of did. He left us alone after
There
that.
you go. That's far out, man.
The fucking washer and dryer door slamming in the
That
middle
would
of the
scare
night.
the shit out
It
of me.
never
be the end
really
of it for
bothered me, though, I guess. I don't know why.
Like, that motherfucker's
But
waking me up again.
he was an old grouchy bastard, so I could see him being that way. Oh, are you fucking putting this on? You know?
You guys were living in my house?
Right. Right. Oh, and I changed it up, too. Like, I put tile up,
Uh-huh.
and that's where I learned how to tile. And learned how to DIY, basically, in that
Right,
place.
yeah.
I tore it all to shit.
I'm not a good DIYer.
I wasn't until then. I'm okay now.
Right.
I mean, I'm all right.
University of YouTube.
Hell yes.
Anything you need to learn, you can learn on YouTube.
Just about, man.
Basically.
Just about.
Basically.
Yep. Somebody should monetize that, really.
I know people that have built entire businesses off of shit they've learned on YouTube.
Wow.
I can't wait. I can't wait for new Unsolved Mysteries, boys.
Oh,
I know I
man.
already said that once today, but
October 13th, right?
my brain is, and I'm thinking like 17.
I can't remember.
Okay, so we are recording on the 10th. This is
Yes.
for the 27th.
Absolutely.
That's why we're kind of behind.
Oh, yeah.
Or in the past. Or
We're recording in the future, but
in the
we're
future.
doing it in the past.
Yeah, we're time traveling right now.
That's right.
When-
So
Yeah, it feels that way.
When
yeah.
cats and dogs are getting get along.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
it
Yeah.
costs a lot of money to time travel like this,
That's right.
which is why you should subscribe to us on Patreon.
That's right.
Absolutely, man. Good tie-in.
Patreon.com
We're going to make a radio man of you, yes.
/ the old 77 podcast.
Yeah.
Bam.
You can listen to all the episodes back to back to back
Yes.
to back.
Everything. Back to back. Keep in mind, though, our first couple episodes, we were really trying to find our way.
Yeah, don't hold
Like-
that against
Yeah,
us.
don't hold that against
Like
us.
every
You
podcast.
can't hold it against me because I wasn't there.
Yeah, I was say Dave wasn't even there, yeah.
Like every
But
podcast.
don't hold that against them.
Every podcast starts out trying to find their own way.
And we've got it now.
And we did that. But happy Halloween. Have a safe one. It's a great holiday.
Hope we spooked you
For
a
all of
little.
us to enjoy, man.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I hope we spooked you.
Yeah.
I know we spooked
I know I got
us.
spooked tonight.
Spooked me.
We spooked us.
I got spooked.
Yeah,
for
me
sure.
too.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Yes.
Right
See you later.
Peace out, homies.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
This is the one and only Old 77.
Bye, Daddy.
Bye-bye.
Subscribers get bonus content and early access to episodes. Find out more at patreon.com/the old 77 podcast. This is the one and only Old 77.